Gotta do this bit again. What?
It is only coming out of one. Nope, I got it. Okay, it's started coming out of both earbuds. I just remember the one time it only came out of the one.
Episode 16 of Realm of the Chaos King. ASMR edition. I did that joke again. Maybe you read my lips and you heard it a second time. Who knows? So, the moonlight pouring out from the door fades away, clamping shut behind the now open doors and revealing the path beyond. You see a slightly wavy hall of polished yet uneven stone before you. You see veins of mica and bits of iron-rich minerals within bumpy and smooth stone, coursing through the walls and the floor. The walls on either side are filled with statues. Statues of armored Aarolendei standing no less than 20 feet tall and standing in between ornate stone balconies that rest 15 feet from the ground. However, though these balconies are ornate and well sculpted, you see ledges and lips perfect for guard positions, and think these may once have been used for guard towers in distant past. Thinking this, you notice large rooms that exist beyond these postings, perhaps barracks of some sort. The statues loom ominously over you as you travel through the hall, seeing at least 6 balconies on either side and their carved forms between either of them. Eventually, after about a minute of walking, you are confronted with a split in the hall, the path crashing against a jagged stone formation that cuts into the path like a knife. The structure appears to have 2 more Aarolendei soldiers carved into the flat surface upon its imperfect diamond shape. Each of these standing around 35 feet tall and wielding a large twin glaive in front of them, shoving it down into the stone and holding it just in front of their pelvis. You see small windows carved into the stone and doors that carve into the lower half between the glaives of the statued Aarolendei legs. The door frames appear to be carved to look as if water were spilling from a single hole rimmed with runes that pours around the edge of the doorway. The water carved so elegantly you might believe it to be flowing. At the very top of the wedge-shaped structure, you see ramparts, as well as small towers that jut out just underneath its pinnacle and act like a crown to the stone. However, the path looks to open drastically on either side, the ceiling stretching many dozens of feet past the structure. You begin to walk around the massive wedge of uncut stone. You feel the pressure of the air change, and you feel a coolness in the air, as if you were sailing on the ocean on a summer's evening. Your nose adjusts before your eyes, and the first scent to drift into your nose is that of churned and beautifully rich soil. You smell the iron, mulched, sediment-rich stone. You smell the work of worms and the product of time. It fills the air like a gift from Demeter and Bela themselves and caresses your very soul with the same nourishment it may offer the plants that you know grow so furtively from it. You smell the scent of water, though it reminds you somewhat of a bath. The same sensation tickling your mind as the scent fills your nostrils. The feeling of warmth and comfort that coexists so effortlessly with the anticipation of a hot spring. Your eyes, still struggling to adjust to the light that now streams freely into the massive space you feel yourself entering, are blinded momentarily by the sudden shift in illumination. But the touch sensation is not affected, and you feel the carved stone path underneath your feet. It feels almost as if you were walking upon obsidian, the small ridges and lips reminiscent of Hero's Peak, though there is a grain you sense within the soles of your feet that tells you otherwise. Along with this, you feel grooves as your feet slide along the path, the separation of bricks, no doubt. Non-uniform, but purposely done, no doubt, as you feel the sense of chaos within their placement, regardless of their lack of uniformity. But instead, it is a calmness you feel. And so strange this calmness is, begotten by a stone path. But it is akin to a dance within the stone, and you find a sense of calm regardless of how strange the origin of it may be. You begin to feel the open air open up before you. You feel the pressure of being beneath the stone lift from your ears and feel your skin sing once more as what seems to be fresh mountain air caresses your face. And then, just as you push fully past the wedge-like structure that blocked much of your vision, your eyes finally adjust to the light and you see it. You see an absolutely gorgeous lake stretch out before you, lit by a massive stone sun above and lined with an equally gorgeous city that spans around it. The water appears to shimmer strangely, glowing and giving off a borealis-esque hue, like nearly transparent ribbons of light that gently waft just above it. The stone sun is that of a massive garnet, much like the one you saw in Cairn Macur, though this is not embedded within the stone, nor is it hanging from gargantuan chains. Instead, it appears to hang effortlessly within the air, with not a single binding in sight, simply floating nearly 150 feet in the air just above the center of this picturesque subterranean lake. However, the lake is simply the first thing your eyes see. It is far from the last. As your eyes travel, they struggle to take in the majesty of all that exists around you. You catch your bearings, finding yourself standing behind the wedge-like building, seeing its backside. 2 more 35-foot statues carved into the sides as well, the other side of the diamond. But these Aarolendei are not armored, but instead appear to be in togas, holding books and grain within their arms, with large smiles across their immaculately carved faces, both of either side of the diamond, and with 2 more doors leading into the wedge between their legs. They gaze fondly over the city, which is built along both sides of the mountain lake. However, the lake is not empty. You see as much as you look back from the diamond, seeing a path stretching out before you, a 20-foot wide stone road that protrudes out into the lake. You stand about 8 feet above the surface of said lake, the path winding down softly to the left before arcing back to the right and traveling just above the water. Looking closer, you see the surface of the lake and the top of the path are nearly uniform, allowing the small wake to lap upon its surface, creating small puddles and sloshing across the stone before tumbling back into the large body of water it originally came from. At the end of the path, you see a large temple resting upon an incredibly lush green island, its form covered with trees, puncturing the near carpet of brush and moss that is consumed amidst the magical lake. However, the sight of it sends anxiety through your gut, seeing the same architecture you two had seen within Telemund Vaster Eyre. The same large cluster of immaculate stone pillars hold a massive stone gable roof upon them, with thick centerpieces separating the 2 moldings and depictions scrawled within, again, reminiscent of a large ancient Grecian temple. However, what eases your anxiety is what exists behind it. Behind the temple, you see an absolutely massive statue of a woman, possibly 70 feet tall, towering above much of the city, and looming like a goddess might above the temple that lay just beneath her. Her hair is wavy, pushed off her forehead with a tiara of sorts that appears tangled with a mess of thick, luscious hair. Her eyes are partially closed, looking down at the city that lay around her and at the temple just below. She wears an ornate toga-esque robe that appears to clasp firmly at her left shoulder, though layers of it fall from her neck like water. The stonework again tricks your perception as you believe the cloth may begin to wave within the stagnant air, yet it does not. You see designs upon the many edges of each layer, runes of arcane and depictions of the moon and stars, all carved effortlessly within the marbled stone. Her face is beautiful, and as your eyes rest upon it, you recognize it, the same visage from the door, the goddess Hecate. She holds a massive vase, which lets loose a large stream of water that tumbles into the lake like a waterfall, letting loose a large cloud of mist that encompasses the back of the temple and creates a half rainbow just below the vase's mouth. Your ears now adjust, and you hear the gentle rumbling of water as it crashes upon the lake below. You hear the rumbling echo carelessly through the stone, nearly creating a symphony and easing away the anxiety you just felt. You then look around the lake. You see the city proper, built upon the ridges of the lake as well as upon an extremely wide shelf that exists just before the mountain consumes it, creating a rim around the lake, somewhat like a bowl. You see homes, storefronts, small temples, and greenery sprouting from the stone, all in the same style you recall in Telemund Vaster Eyre to have been built in. You see the almost temple-like designs of each of them, pillars holding the second floor aloft while accenting their form with intricate carvings of trees, vines, and fellow Aarolendei. Some of the buildings appear 1 story, while others appear to stretch as high as 4, but all of them are made of marbled stone, no wood in sight, with the exception of the trees that sprout so gleefully around them. Like weeds growing in the cracks of sidewalks, they seem to accent the city so well while growing so voraciously within. Some of the roofs are gabled with green stone shingles, while others are flat with ramparts that allow for the growing of rooftop gardens. Some are adorned with the remnants of stained glass, while others appear to have open, glassless windows similar to what you've seen in Tristfall. And as you look at this, you see the true scope of the city, wrapping around the entire lake, which looks to be about 1.5 miles in diameter from where you stand to the other end. But what's more staggering is that the rim looks to be around 1/2 mile deep at any given point into the stone away from the lake. All of it packed with something, whether that be structures, courtyards, or greenery. Before this residential area, however, to the right of you, you see farmland with incredibly dark soil speckled with white, and growing from it are absolutely overgrown crops of berries, fruit trees, wheat, and corn, all of it absorbing the light of the magical sun so happily. The farmlands are huge, more than acres of it, all growing within the rich, nutrient-rich, and fragrant soil of the Bouveau Cap. You see a stone path cut through these subterranean mountain farmlands, the light of the sun barely illuminating it through the thick canopy of overgrowth, its shafts revealing clouds of pollen and dust like golden clouds that hover just above the stone path. The path is covered with various vines, mulch, and bits of dirt that haven't been disturbed in a millennia, reminiscent of a jungle path. And this was only the northernmost side of the lake. You see but a fraction of the city, and as you look to the south, you see more farmland intermingling with Aarolendei stone farm homes, consumed by the overgrowth. And past that, you see more of the city stretching along the rim of this magical lake. More homes, more past lives, an entire civilization lit by the magic of the Aarolendei and looked over by the goddess of magic herself. The mist impedes your view of the other side, but you know there exists far more across, past the statue of Hecate. You see yet another city lost by time, locked away by power unbeknownst to you, abandoned by all those around it, and forgotten by all. Until now.
This is very different.
Yes. I'm sorry Yahiro won't get to see this.
You've already been into a city like this?
Yes.
Commodore,
In the spine.
It was much worse.
I see.
Quick question. The city I grew up in was not like this either, was it?
Much larger.
What
And
was
it was
it?
in the Underdark. This is not in the Underdark.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've not experienced something like this.
I wonder where they all went.
Well, should we go find out?
I suppose.
Let's just be quiet.
Where are we going first? Are we going into that wedge-like building, or are we going somewhere else?
I'm particularly interested in the berries.
Yes, I guess you were right. There's plenty of food down here.
Did I say that?
Someone did.
I'll be right, sure.
Well, aren't there berries outside as well?
Well, we just didn't know if there was going to be any extra food since it was underground.
Oh, that's what you're interested in the most, though, is the berries? You've
Well,
seen those.
I don't know what kind of berries there are.
Oh.
They could be the same, they could be new. They're probably delicious.
Okay.
The wedge building is behind us, correct?
Mm-hmm. It's right behind you.
I suppose we could be systematic about it. Go into the building behind us first, and then...
We don't need to. It's the first place that we came across, and the city's quite large.
What is I'm sorry, what is the goal of us being here?
Well,
Just looking?
it seems very well preserved. It'd be nice to gather any information we can about the history of why the Liches were hunting the Aarolendei, and to find any leftover items they might still have.
Like cool swords or
Yes,
like
weapons,
fancy
armor.
new strains of berries.
understand. Then if we want to do that, we should go into any building we can that looks interesting. I think. That's at least... Yes. But we're not in the Underdark, so I'm not as worried about rats.
Yes, and I
Rats?
suppose...
There are rats in the Underdark.
There are rats up here as well.
Yes, there are.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I will send my raven out just briefly, just to make sure that there isn't anything hiding like there was last time.
Well, if there is, then wouldn't that alert them?
It's fairly soundless,
You also do remember not being able to detect any of them with your raven.
because I rolled a low perception check.
Also because they didn't move and they blended in with the stone.
Oh, okay. Maybe not then.
Remember, they were dormant before
Yeah, I know.
you made noise.
But they were still, many-legged, creepy creatures.
I would say if it's a noise issue, the waterfall makes plenty of noise.
That's true.
But this is a new place, so there could be new enemies. I'd say we should keep the elements of surprise while we have it.
Sure.
Well, what direction should we go in? There's north through the farmland and into the city. This building, or the path to the temple, I guess.
I say do the building behind us first. Just get it out of the way.
And then temple and then city. Seems like a good order to go in.
Yes.
Okay, I'm pretty new to this. I'll just stay behind you all.
Okay.
I can go in first if everyone wants me to.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
Alright, fine, I'll go first then. I guess.
Okay. So, you guys go into the Wedge building?
Yeah.
The diamond. Okay. You walk towards the
Wed.
You walk toward the
yeah, get it.
One more time.
You walk toward the wedge-like building that once impeded your view of the rest of the city, coming to the door nearest to you between the legs of a large statue spanning 25 or so feet above you. You enter into an extremely short hall, flanked on either side by what appear to be olive vines upon their white and black arbors. Behind the arbors and yellowish-green olive vines, you see stone walls that were made to look as if they hadn't been cut, keeping many of the chisel marks very strategic in their design. The area has very little smell. That's the second thing you notice. The smell of dust, water, and a hint of wet metal, but nothing else. Then, you notice warm light pouring in from in front of you, the source impeded by a lip of stone at the end of the small hall. You walk through the threshold and out of the hall, finding yourself in a large, imperfect diamond-shaped courtyard, lit by another large stone in the center of the ceiling, giving off a light so very similar to the sun. In the center of the courtyard is a large birch tree growing amidst a plethora of lush green foliage, mixed with the colors of many flowers and fruits. The vines spread out from the large center garden through the cracks of stone and bricks and up the sides of the area, leading your eyes to the structures that line it all. You see finely crafted mezzanines accented by the vines above and strong, ribbed pillars below that hold it aloft. Beyond the mezzanine's banisters and beyond the pillars, you see thick white wood doors situated within decorated doorways of stone, sigils of abjuration and ancient runes of health seen carved throughout them. You see windows, half ovals in shape, besides each of the doors as well. Single pane with at least one flower box dangling from the sill of each of them, and like everything else, these are woefully overgrown as well, sending large tufts of weeds spilling from their depths and out onto the stone below them. The banisters for the upper floor do not flow in a straight line, but more in a wave as you look upon them. They appear to slope upwards towards a statue's hand, an entirely naked woman, before following across the statue's other side and continuing, only to slope upwards again to the top of a raised hand of another, this time a man. The second floor rooms are also adorned with small roof lips that falls out from the stone as the top of the building far exceeds the second floor by about 15 feet. These look to have vines and moss growing all within the stone shingles, falling limply and resting unmoving for many years. Each bit of the top and bottom portions of the pillars look carved into. Small domes, ridges, and depictions of the sea rest just before the ceiling that they hold. Depictions of Aerolendish soldiers flow upon the center portions, riding upon giant hawks, scaling cliff sides, assisting fallen soldiers, and simply standing guard, among other mundane activities. But the mundane doesn't appear to be less important, all of it carved so wonderfully into the gray stone of the Bouveau cap, given form by the craftsmen of the ancient Aarolendei. The ceiling is oddly shaped, concaved and dipping towards the sunstone that rests at its center with little to no texture upon it. But there are more paintings, roots in Aarolendei swimming within them, along with hints of water similar to what you saw outside. Many dozens of elves, all with looks of content upon their faces, all nearly consumed by vines, stretching out towards the sun. However, not all is so beautiful. For as you look back towards the garden, you see many skeletons resting upon the stone benches, long consumed by the greenery. Skeletons resting upon the trees, and some still laying on their back within a carpet of vines, flowers and weeds. Each of them have clothing upon them, and many still have mummified flesh upon their bones, kept relatively preserved by the sealing of the city. None of their clothes look damaged in any way, nor do their bones, with the exception of some magical striations on some of their bones, most likely from mending broken ones long ago with magic.
They look peaceful.
They look dead.
Yes.
Yes, but this isn't that bad of a place to die. Rather nice.
I don't understand why they all... I'm gonna go and inspect them a bit.
Okay, what do you want to
I
inspect?
want to try and... I obviously, they're bones, but I want to try and use
Some
my...
mummified remains, yeah.
Yeah, I want to try and use my background to identify their cause of death.
Sure, make a medicine check.
Come on. 13.
13? Can't figure it out. They don't have any wounds, no scratch marks. Their clothes are rather undamaged.
I don't know. I don't know why they would all just sit here and just accept death.
Yeah.
There must be a reason.
Maybe they couldn't come out because there was a certain someone torching their entire, race.
Yes, I suppose.
Who?
Theoretically.
This is the first I've seen in Aarolendei City, or that's what you called it. Drow?
Aarolendei.
Okay.
That's what they were called before they were called Drow.
I see.
Yes.
Do we know where you checked the bodies? Do you know how long they've been dead? Maybe?
Would my 13 tell me that?
No.
It's been a while, honestly, since I've evaluated a corpse.
That's alright.
I suppose I'm just concerned about whether or not whatever caused their ends is a present concern for us.
Ecluda's just sort of staring at everything.
They're just sitting up against plants, sitting on the benches, or
Sitting on the benches, laying, now partially consumed by vines, sitting on the tree.
Are they
trunks.
holding themselves? Are they just kind of
They seem peaceful.
It's just odd that they would all die at the same time, is what I'm saying. If they naturally were to fall away because their city was sealed and they were just waiting to die in here, that just doesn't make sense either because they have food and they have water. And they have plenty of other people.
What about air?
Well, it seems like when we got through from just like the tunnel area, you could feel the air become less stale. So they have fresh air, coming from somewhere.
Right, but remember when we were in the Underdark, there was those rooms that were sealed,
Yes.
and you weren't able to breathe in them until you opened them.
The room, when we opened the door, was there like
A
that
seal
same
broke?
like sucking sound? I suppose if we can't identify where the fresh air is coming from, if there's some kind of magic that they were using, then maybe it was disrupted for a moment. I don't know.
I don't know. If we're done in this room, I feel like we should move.
There are
There
like
are
mezzanines,
there are
and places to
mezzanines
look,
and
right?
other rooms
Yeah.
that appear to be.
Perhaps we just look around.
All right.
You want to go in one of the guard rooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we gonna split up, or are we?
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Let's split up.
Okay.
Let's split the party.
Dagamoris.
It
Yeah.
This
seems
is what
nice
you
so
find.
far.
Are you guys splitting up?
Yeah.
Okay. Dagamoris, this is what you find. You enter into one of the rooms, and to your surprise, find the sun washing over your lower half from a window at the far side of it, magically hidden from the outside. The window is flanked on either side by carvings that appear to be midway in dance, robes falling from them as they bend their knees and arc their backs towards the window, their hands raised just so, barely touching the top of the corners on either end of it. Flowing within them are more bands of cloth that flow through the stone as if it were water. Well-maintained furniture is splayed around the room, finely crafted bed frames with cotton-filled comforters and high-threaded sheets still spread upon them. 4 tiered dressers with iron knobs sat near the frames. Some of the chests are still pulled from the dressers as well, revealing the clothes of those that once used to house them. Along with the beds and dressers, you see mannequins filled with silver armor. The same armor you saw etched into the stone statues within the tomb of Zatharis Malorian, though you now see it firsthand and without flaw. You see the oblong triangle pauldrons with the left depicting an open book with thick cloth bookmarks streaming down its center and dangling just below. You see the right, a pool of water reflecting the moon upon the left, with stones and water appear to tumble from the pages, flipping in stasis from the book that emerge from the right. You see the chest as well. 2 Aarolendei of indiscernible gender are depicted ripping apart the silver of the chest, leaving a smoothed out texture at the lip of the hole and revealing a rippling pool that hides within it a shrouded face of a woman with thick and curly hair exploding from her back and floating within the trails beneath the lip of the embossed hole. The faces of those ripping the hole open are shrouded by a thick veil that drops down from an armored cap, just above a set of ornate robes fashioned within the plates of silver. Upon the greaves of the armor are the sun and the moon upon each of the gauntlets, and sigils of Gilean and Bahamut. The sigil of Gilean looks to be the same old man you saw upon the door, sipping a cup of something while reading a book upon an endless ocean lit by a blanket of stars. The sigil of Bahamut is one you've seen before, a gargantuan dragon with its wings spread wide, blocking an incoming tidal wave of sand, only some of it slipping past. In front of him are tiny specks, humanoid and animal creatures looking up at the titanic god in awe. You see your armor as it once was.
Is it big enough for me?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yeah, I take off my armor and I put that one on.
Okay.
Hey, level up!
Well, maybe not level up. My armor was pretty
Rebrand.
fucking good, but yeah,
It's the
rebrand.
same type of armor.
Oh, okay,
It
good.
just does not have any depictions of Lolth.
Good.
And instead, the book, flipping pages, cloth bookmark, and a tumbling pool of water off the side, image of Hecate, and the sigils of Bahamut.
What the fuck
And
is
Gilean.
Bahamut doing on there?
This is the god of justice.
I know, but like,
These
what
are the
fuck
guards
is
of the city.
Bahamut doing on there?
We are in the south, so.
I know, it's just like with the Aarolendei, and like we haven't seen very many actual depictions of Bahamut, especially like that.
Is that and that's all? Like,
That is what you find, yes.
okay, cool.
In total, you see 4 beds in the room, along with 2 reading nooks filled with various fictional novels at the time.
I don't look at the books.
Okay.
Why, Iona?
Well, I wouldn't look at the books.
Aarolendei porn.
Yeah. So Dagmar's is like
Ancient
right now.
erotica museums,
No,
Vivian's
he's
future.
I got new armor, and I'm kind of just like, all right.
You now have ancient Aarolendei plate.
That's so cool.
Yes,
Is that a
indeed.
thing that I can add, or is that just, should I just keep the same armor I have?
Just keep the same armor,
Now people
but that
won't
is
freak
now.
out because wolves are on your polyzone.
Yeah, now I'll just have like.
What do you
two-
do with the
two
armor that you
arrow
had?
right here? I just shove it into a corner or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't set it back up on the mannequin.
For the next archaeologist to be confused.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So you toss it into the corner, and you leave it for the second time.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
There's nothing. I mean, I don't want it because if I can hold it, I'm super encumbered.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing. There's no point. Just kind of leave it. Cool. And then I go back out.
Okay. All of you find mummified bodies in the rooms as well.
Just chilling.
Yep.
Can I surmise anything else from them?
I'm not going to allow it.
Damn it.
Do they have anything on them?
Just clothes. They look to have been just wearing cloth and whatever is comfortable. Some appear to be naked.
Nudity.
I just didn't know if there was like pockets or anything.
Nope.
Cool.
Okay, reconvene.
Okay.
Does everyone gather?
Yes.
Okay. Just gotta make sure that no one.
I
loses
found
anybody.
some more bodies and some clothes. Nothing of particular interest. And some nice carvings along the windows.
I found new armor.
Obviously. Look at
Oh
you.
wow,
It's nice.
that's very nice.
Yes, it is.
What did you do with the old?
What was wrong with the other one?
It had
Spiders.
Yes. I left it in a corner.
Should leave a note for the next archaeologist that comes through.
For what?
Speaking of archaeologists, is there anything like your archaeologist brain knows about anything?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You're like a professional on like old things that are underground, and
Well, I mean, it takes me a bit more time to look around and gather that information. I can't discern anything by just looking at it surface
no,
level.
just firing from the hip, nothing.
It's old.
You said this was your first Aarolendei ruin you've been to.
Yeah.
The first drow ruin you've been to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just curious.
Okay.
Didn't mean anything by it, I swear.
Anything?
Okay.
But if anything comes to mind, just
You have an archaeologist brain. Do you know anything? Anything?
feel free to just shout out.
Will do. Will do.
So I'm kind of getting freaked out about
Did you have
The
a
fact that
bad
everybody's just
time in the
dead.
last?
absolutely, and the reason that people were dead was a lot more obvious there.
Yes.
I think I kind of prefer that.
I see. Yes.
Definitely don't so far.
All right.
It's a very long, very convoluted story that requires a lot of believing a lot of things.
I can tell you.
Eufeme would be the best person to tell you.
Well, we can continue while you're telling me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So you're gonna tell him
Yeah.
while you guys are
I'm
walking?
gonna make it into epic though.
Okay.
Epic.
Make a performance check then.
I'll chime in with a couple little paltry facts about things.
Performance, you said.
Mm-hmm.
21.
Hey!
Okay. So where are you guys heading while this is happening?
The temple.
Temple!
Okay.
Temple. I'm so thrilled.
You walk past the wedged guard building and down towards the bridge stretching out to the temple at the center of the magical lake. About 24 feet from the tip of the guard building, you begin to walk down some roughly cut stairs. Many lips and bumps within the stone, and giving each step a very awkward, imperfect shape. You now see the sloped shore of the lake. Tens of thousands of flowers carpet the soil leading down into it. giving the ground a coloration similar to that of a porcelain, mixed with a light pink upon the primarily white flowers, along with yellow and black spots that speckle each petal. The slope is gradual at some points and very steep at others. At some points, you can see houses and other buildings built along the bank, while other portions are left free from any architecture, leaving the space free for many large birches and other life to flourish. You look then to the front, seeing the bridge you saw earlier, but now, faced with it head-on and at its level, you are almost lost in the beauty of it all. You gawk upon the massive lake before you, a railless stone bridge eloquently cutting through it like a knife. You are surrounded by the slope of the soil and stone and consumed by a stupendous aroma the likes of which you have unfortunately up until this point never been privy to. You feel small, looking down the path that looks to nearly be consumed by the magical mist that spills from the surface of the lake, like a bubble bath with no bubbles. An aura similar to that of a borealis streams from the lake itself, not too vibrant, though certainly still noticeable and filled with lush color, only interrupted by the bridge that appears to serve as an arm from one world to the next. You step foot upon the stone. Your balance shifts, and your equilibrium is thrown off immediately as you feel the sensation of falling and slipping at the same time. You look down and see each smooth-edged brick moving under your feet, pressing down into the water with your weight, unsecured to each of the bricks that have been laid next to them. However, the brick stops its descent soon after your foot falls upon it, suspended by magic, no doubt. And as you look closer at the bridge, you see subtle ripples in the water gently pushing and bobbing each individual brick upon this 20-foot wide pathway. You continue, getting your bearings slowly but surely. You see the water gently lap upon the stone at some points, spilling more greatly onto it as you step upon it. But it does not feel slippery, yet it still feels wet. It feels like water, though it feels more similar to what you might describe as heavy air, the fluid soaking into your clothing and splashing just as regular water might, though your feet walk through it with far less resistance. You feel like ants walking upon the spoon of a goddess's cereal bowl, like a babe walking upon the branches of Pterodosia, looking up at the gargantuan statue of Hecate plunging out from the rainbow-laden mist of her creation. In front of the statue, you see the island which the temples rest upon. However, you see from this distance now 2 other smaller buildings upon the island as well. One upon a tall spire of stone to the right of the front of it, with many stairs leading to its entrance, and another 1-story building at the base to the left, shaped much like some of the homes in the city. You begin to feel the mist upon your skin, soaking into the collar of your clothes and drenching your hair. You feel it stream down your forehead and down the small of your back. It smells wonderful, and each molecule of the water clings to you as you believe your soul must cling to life, hugging your skin and caressing your senses. You step foot on truly solid ground and upon the island, feeling your stomach lurch in anticipation before readjusting again. You look around to see small, natural crumbling rock formations that create hills of stone covered with algae and wet moss. In front of you, you see a gravel path that winds up to the temple, a mere speck in comparison to the colossus behind it and the huge cloud of mist that tumbles below it. The temple is a large cluster of immaculate stone pillars that holds a massive stone in the shape of a gable roof upon it, with a thick centerpiece separating the two with moldings and depictions scrawled within, extremely similar to the temple you saw in the Underdark on the final level of the Pillar City, though this one does not appear to flow from the stone behind it, rather it stands on its own. This one is also covered with algae, moss, vines, and bramble that crawls up each of the pillars. You continue to walk up the path, seeing more clearly the buildings on either side of the temple as well. The one on the left, long, with a stone roof gilded in gold, also covered with moss and shaped like a zigzag L, with a few towers speckled at the various corners of it and a few pillars erupting from its sides, accenting it and giving it depth amidst the stained glass windows seen between them. The one on the right appears rather small, though grand in its own right, with at least 100 steps carved into a strange stone peninsula off the side of the island, leading to it almost ominously within the constant stream of light mist. You can't really see the details of it from here, though. You walk amidst tall trees that grow on either side of the path, water dripping from their leaves and on to each of your heads, swaying bit by bit as the weight of water leaves them. You walk then to the front of the temple, magnificent and huge in its size, much like the one you saw within the Underdark, though a bit smaller in stature. The pillars stretch no less than 150 feet to the sky, each of them with a circumference of around 20 feet, holding aloft many thousands of tons of stone in the form of the grand temple roof you see before you. These pillars, though, are not carved into the likeness of Aarolendeish women, but are simply ridged and exquisitely carved marbled stone of the same hornblende and white stone. The top is like a stone sandwich, again, just as you saw before, a thick stone foundation resting directly upon the pillars below, and a triangular massive roof that sits atop it. Within the foundation, you see carvings along it, each of them depicting the Aarolendei worshipping Gillian and Hecate, studying, harnessing magic, or simply loving one another, embracing and smiling. All of it sculpted within the temple's roof as if you were looking at a busy horizon. All of it taking place simultaneously upon it, seamless in its depiction. In the center of these depictions is an intricate and large sculpting of a lighthouse. The moon sat within its glass top, acting as the beacon upon the shore.
So there's inside the temple, the little...
Zigzag building, and the one that stretches upon the stone precipice.
Yeah.
Where should we start?
Oh, this is something.
Yes.
It's quite large.
Yes.
The zigzag building is the smallest, right? Of the...
No, the one that goes up the stairs is the smallest building.
Mm.
We can go wherever.
Just know I'm not going in first.
I'll go in first.
Let's start at the top. It's small and contained, and we can work our way down.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you walk up steps to the strangely ominous building that rests upon the stone precipice to the north of the temple, stretching to the very edge of the island. Each step is thin, leaving little room for your feet, and there are many of them, each smooth and dark of stone, just as the stone it is carved into is. The water from the mist streams down each of the steps, long having created divots within it, and causing some of the thin steps to slope, making them slippery and even harder to traverse. You see the roof now of the structure ahead of you, stark white and speckled with black. Enchanted marble, you'd say, as regular marble would have long disintegrated from the onslaught of water. The marble is carved into a riveted gable style, much like a small mausoleum in its shape. Underneath the triangular eave it creates, an open book, radiating light, can be seen carved into the marble. The bottom edges of the roof look to become consumed by a different stone entirely, like an infection spreading to its top. This leads your eyes, as you push further up the steps, to the primary portion of the structure, which is made entirely of obsidian glass. You see rough cleavages and carve marks on its surface, like a nearly uncut gem of a building. The corners, however, have been carved into. The sleek, dark stone of the mountain these look to be made of, creating an interesting contrast between the obsidian, the marble, and themselves. On either side of the door, two robed and faceless figures let their heads hang and their hands clasped together at their chest. On the necks of these robed figures are many pounds of ceremonial links of iron, copper, mithril, silver, and even adamantine. Just below the book, underneath the eave, it reads, "The Communion of Knowledge and Power."
So just a fancy glowing book?
Above the door.
Oh. Okay.
Is there gonna be more books in there?
I I hope so.
All right.
Do you not like books?
They're all right. They're not better than a good storyteller.
I agree.
Thank you. The first one.
I'm not a big fan of books, to be honest.
You like rocks, right?
Rocks are okay.
All right, I'm going in.
Okay. Okay. So, you notice, by the way, that there are locks, like padlocks, but they look like they have no key upon them. On the chains. On the chains. You step through the rough-edged entrance of the building. You look upon a small bathhouse, the ceiling entirely consumed with magical clouds, and the area lit by ever-burning torches upon the obsidian walls. The walls reflect from the singular pool in the center, which is filled with crystal clear water that looks like a black pudding almost due to the nature of the obsidian that holds it. Gentle rain falls from the small clouds that fill the ceiling, and the seams of the room have been gilded in gold to accent the black glass, filled with runes of rest and knowledge.
You can't say black pudding when we're in a bathhouse. You can't say those words together.
The black pudding attacked in the bathhouse of the Dwarven City.
Outside of Avenor.
In the dungeon of Avenor, remember? It was like a bathhouse of sorts, filling with steam.
I was like black pudding.
It just looks like black pudding due to the nature of obsidian being underneath it and holding in it. Okay.
I will say, the Aarolendei have had a wonderful understanding of, I don't know how to put it, a flair, I guess? I love
Is
it.
this just a bathhouse?
Rest in knowledge. It was. I'm trying to remember exactly what I read in the last ruin that we were in, but they would commune with Gillian, I believe, while resting in water. Or was it Hecate?
It was Gillian.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Wasn't it Gillian?
Yes, with the verdant willow, right?
Yes. Which we have a lot of. Well, we have
Some.
4 of them.
Okay.
Should we try it?
I can try it.
Fancy a bath? Yeah.
Well, for
Make an intelligence check for me.
No.
This is what you read in the writings of Nisala Cana.
Mm-hmm.
We believe our pursuit of knowledge is our way of praying to Gillian, and this is shared in our pursuit of arcane knowledge as it pertains to Hecate. However, the Aarolendei as a people do not believe this is enough for such a being as Hecate. Therefore, we have become accustomed to meditating within a bath of Pinellas salts. Pinellas salted water each day while simply speaking to Hecate. The Pinellas salts allowed for a stronger connection to the lakes of magic, and since most of our people cannot directly communicate with her, we believe this may allow her to hear us at the very least. All we hope is that she enjoys the company.
Oh, it had nothing to do with the verdant willow?
No, it did not. It had to do with Pinellas salts.
It's in most.
How many baths are there? Is it like one big pool
It's
of
a
water?
single large bath with magical clouds raining.
Alright, so am I getting into the bath with this flower?
Actually, I think I might have been mistaken.
Do you remember better than I do?
It's not the verdant willow. It's some sort of salts. Pinella salts, you said?
Pinellas, yes.
Pinella salts. That help them commune. But it's more about being heard than actually conversing. It's a way of
With
meditating
Gillian?
and praying. With Hecate.
Oh.
Well, it
just-
makes sense. This is a temple of Hecate, isn't it?
Yes.
Just learning or whatever is good enough for Gillian, I guess. The temperature of the water.
So that's interesting. As you... Do you touch it?
Yeah.
Okay. You feel a different temperature right when you touch it. As if you... as you sit in there, it changes to whatever you wish the temperature of the water to be.
Ooh, magic bath.
So does that mean we're not getting in?
I suppose it's just a bath at this point.
I would say no.
It's more than a bath.
Hmm.
There's something magical going on with it, but I don't think it does what we want it to do.
What do you want it to do?
I don't know. Something.
Commune with Hecate.
Something amazing, I guess.
Apparently it's for communing with Hecate.
Okay. All right.
I would like to get in. I don't mind you leaving me here.
That's fine.
Are we leaving then?
We'll be in the temple then.
We'll be in the
downstairs?
temple. Have fun with your bath.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So you guys.
Yell if anything's wrong.
Will do.
Okay.
It's time for Lamech once again to commune with drowish gods. This time you're not
You do
bleeding,
remember
though.
having Pinella salts, by the way.
That's right.
You used them.
have
I didn't use
The man's
them.
like, the man's like, you know what? You guys leave. I'm gonna.
He used them already.
Oh,
Oh.
I didn't.
You did. Remember, you used them. You steamed them.
Oh, I used them all to steam.
You used them all as a steam, and you gave everyone inspiration
That
because
was vanilla salts.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
You smoked salts and everyone got inspiration.
steamed
Steamed,
it.
yeah.
You steam. It's like it was like a
Because I was
bath.
trying to do the thing I'm trying to do now. But no, I actually just want a bath.
Have a bath.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll scoot down to the temple.
And we never, just out of character, you still have that Aarolendei sword, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the fucking ass one.
Okay.
Anything with Lolth is ass.
I still have a fucking ass one. There's no depiction of Lolth on that sword, by the way.
I thought you said there was.
There
It's
was
like
the
there's a
spider,
matron
right?
mother.
There's the matron mother,
Oh,
but the
that's-
spider was the
it's
reference
gone.
to Lolth,
Oh, that's
and the
cool.
spider is gone.
Matron Mother's fine.
Okay. Okay, so
I just don't like this.
What? It's a promise prince.
while you are getting undressed and getting into the bath,
Naked.
Naked.
yeah, you're being this naked.
Dipping his nuts in the ancient
Rated
water.
R. Kerplunk when you hear. Okay, much like the
Please
temple,
enjoy your bath. Sorry for making fun.
much like the temples you saw within the final layer of Telemun Vastarair, you see the pillars span not to the ceiling, but instead to the edges of its foundations. The ceiling itself stretching beyond this edge, further into the stone, with paintings of the ocean's beaches, and beautiful acrylics upon it. There is another structure in the center of the open temple, an entirely separate building that seems to be built into the ceiling, melded with the stone amidst the painted waves, their depictions crashing upon it. The center structure appears no less than 2,000 square feet, set squarely in the center of the temple and decorated intensely. Yet it still leaves thousands of square feet remaining all around it within the threshold of the massive pillars that hold the temple's roof aloft. Surrounding this center building are large stone tiles, 30 square feet each, that line the entire floor. Scattered around the temple are small to moderately sized clusters of pillows, tables, and fire pits, like small living spaces with the symbol of Gillian and Hecate carved within the stone just below each of the clusters. You'd think these spaces were there to socialize and discuss with one another, which you know was an integral aspect of their culture. The mist from behind the temple pours in through the pillars at the back, flowing in like a fog, and from each of the droplets the light is reflected, shimmering almost like a glitter in the air within the temple. Looking then back to the center structure, you see carvings along the top, near where the stone meets stone, and you see a large indented space that begins about 10 feet up the stone and is filled with 2 ornate pillars flanked by 2 squarish pillars. This shelf is split down the center by a large archway that continues into the center structure. However, within this shelf of stone upon its front, you see 2 statues, both of naked female and male Aarolendei in between the 2 pillars on either side. Each of them appears to be pushing their left hands against their lower sternum with their open hands like a flower. Right hands clenched into tight fists at the small of their back as they look slightly upwards with contentment in their expressions. Along the rim of stone, you see more sculpted depictions of Aarolendei mastering magic and kneeling before a pool lorded over by the goddess of magic. Those kneeling shown drinking heartily of it. a pretty large area.
Yes,
And Nicolid comes up. What are we doing here?
we're looking around.
Okay. Commodore. Okay. Nicolid, I'm gonna wait outside, actually.
Okay.
He pulls back, seeing Dagamaris and Vivian both looking at him without you being there and Yahiro nowhere to be in sight. He
Yeah.
does not feel like being there. Okay, are we going into the center building? What are you two doing?
I was thinking, but yes, the center building sounds fine.
I don't want to interrupt anything.
No, it's
No.
just
Well, I mean, again, you can do whatever.
I was trying to remember. There was a time I saw. Doesn't matter.
it's painful having seen the world for what it was, and nothing seems to be as beautiful as it all was back then. So, the center structure. Let's go.
Okay. And Commodore's just waiting for Dagamaris to...
I go then.
Okay. Okay, so you walk in. At the end of the room, you see an extremely large, at least 20-foot tall statue of Hecate, though she is not wearing a toga. Instead, she wears the very elements of magic she controls with an expansive crown of pure light upon her head. Her eyes stream from them a thick milk-like smoke that crackles with energy. Her chest and torso are protected by a condensed and metallic material that resembles what could only be described as the very crusts of the planet. Sparks of red flying from the crevices within it. Her arms are exposed, revealing flexed and quite toned forearms and biceps littered with bands of raw magic swirling around her vascular appendages. Her arms stretch out before her, somewhat like this. And her legs are consumed with the wrath of magic. A maelstrom of water, fire, lightning, stone, and air, though you do see them, feet planted squarely upon the stone. Her hair appears to have grown 3 times its normal length as you've seen it before, each strand reaching to the sides of the temple, 15 feet each and full of weight and thickness, coursing with power and colored a pitch white and pushed back by the nearly translucent and glowing crown of light that arcs out like a ram's horns. You look upon her with awe, feeling an aura of absolute power radiating from her. Then you blink, looking back and seeing not the swirling water and scorching fire, but seeing instead it sculpted within the stone. The aura remaining, only the movement sapped from it, though the milky smoke still streams from her eyes. Her expression is not the kind expression you've grown accustomed to seeing upon her depictions, but rather a stern and disciplined expression, an expression of a goddess of such unimaginable power. Okay. Well, magic is powerful, right?
Yes, very powerful, I suppose.
I mean, I would expect that she would be one of the more powerful gods.
Yes.
Is
Alright.
something troubling?
What?
Something troubling.
No, I'm going to look around the room.
Last I heard, she was asleep at the bottom of her lake of magic, so it is a bit troubling
What is troubling?
that she's asleep.
Oh. Okay. At the base, you both see a large pool of water. And inscribed above it in magic within the air, it says, Temple of the Two Moons. At the center of the pool is a single flower, though each petal could easily be made of moonlight and nothing else. Its shape is that of a large lotus flower, but you see stars within it. Not figuratively, but literally, you see falling stars, tiny in scope, falling from its petals, and you see drops of soap-like water falling from them along with the fallen stars. The stalk is sturdy and looks to be more like a tree's trunk rather than the stem of a flower with thick bark upon it. You feel as if it should be bigger, though it stands a meager 1 foot tall, floating upon the water upright, its roots embedded within the liquid as if soil.
Is that a Gillian's lotus?
No.
Fuck. I was so excited. Trying to find one of those for fucking so long.
In Hecate's temple, Gillian's lotus.
Hey, who knows?
Vivian, this is something that you would like, right?
I don't know how to harvest it. Okay, let me take a look at it.
All right.
Make a nature check.
Can we not roll poorly, please? 6.
You have no idea how to
I'm
harvest it.
so sad. Why are we all fucking awful
You need
today?
a bard.
Yeah, well,
But we
are
need a
you
nature,
clean
a nature
yet?
check.
Damn.
Natty 20, baby.
Oh
Natty
my
20.
god, natty 20!
Just fucking pick it from the stem.
Just pick it up.
So, Dagamora sees you looking at it, just walks through the pool, picks it up from the water. Roots dangling.
I squawk exactly like that.
Commodore.
What do I do with it now? I don't want to keep holding it. I just-
I'll hold it.
Perfect.
You do not know what this flower
I'm
is.
gonna wrap it in some cloth.
Okay.
I'm gonna rest it around Hithkel's little cup. I'm gonna say hi to Hithkel.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Close my back up. He's fine. He's your son.
Thanks, son.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was very dangerous, but thank you. I'm glad it worked.
Yes.
The second thing you guys see is that the statue exists at the end of this large hall and is flanked on either side by a single row of pillars. However, these pillars were built halfway to the tall ceilings, meeting a large stone beam that spans the length of the room on either side, and then another row of pillars then reaches the top upon this. Beyond the single rows of pillars are more statues of the Aarolendei, remaining naked, reading, holding small bouts of magic, or simply saluting as the ones outside were. And that is what you find.
Sorry,
Okay.
There was not a staircase. It was just statues. Okay, cool.
I don't know what else to do. Where to go?
Neither do I.
Have we already investigated this area? Yes. Yeah, we already failed. Very miserable. Well, yeah.
Find the flower.
Found a flower, which I'm sure is going to be extremely helpful at some point.
It was just a temple of Hecate, right? So
Yes.
didn't expect much.
So, should we wait for Eupheme before we go into the next building?
No.
Okay.
That is a man that takes 2-hour baths.
I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm an adventurer.
You think okay, but you're in an obsidian bath lined with gold. You're not gonna chill there for
For
like
2 hours?
It was
yeah,
It was an exaggeration.
a
but
nice like a 45-minute to an hour
I could see
long
Eupheme
bath.
taking some mighty long baths.
Eupheme seems like
I'm
a
a
bath
doer.
man.
I'm not a relaxer.
He just dips his toe.
What are
He
you
just
talking about?
dunks and is out. He's like, I'm ready.
Are you a
No,
doer?
not that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, you can talk to Eupheme about it.
Okay, so you guys walk out, but while you are investigating Eupheme, you dip in, you feel such a nice bath. You sit
I want it hot.
on the bath, and as you think that, it begins to bubble just around you, slightly. You feel your worries melt away within the water.
Are you gonna get pissed when Icklid walks in?
Hopefully not. Depends on what Icklid has to say.
Igloo does not walk in. How long do you plan on bathing?
Like 2 hours. I don't know. I just wanted to be the first one in like 1,000 years to get in this pool. That's all.
Yeah, so you get
Like
in.
5-10 minutes.
Yeah, as you sit there, and as your senses begin to open, you see a magical window form, and you look out onto the city.
Holy shit. And there are no drugs in this pool.
No,
Cool.
that you can feel.
Yeah. I'll just play a little song, and then when the song's over, I'll get out.
Okay. So I'd say you guys take a couple minutes to investigate the temple or whatnot, and as you exit, Eupheme is walking down. You see Ikla just standing there.
Wow. Surprised that it was that fast.
Was it a good bath?
Yeah. It was actually really lovely.
No gods whispering to you this time?
Not that I could hear, but there was like a magical window over the city. It was lovely.
Sounds nice. We found a very rare flower that Dagmaris very skillfully harvested, and a very intimidating statue of Hecate. But other
Was
than
she
that-
awake in this one?
Yes.
Have you seen any of her being like asleep or?
No.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm starting to become concerned about that fact.
While walking out, you said there was also Gillian depictions at the front of the temple, or is it just
No, on the ground, depictions of the sigil of Gillian and Hecate.
Or do any of them have like Gillian's face anywhere?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've just kind of like been looking at some of those just while we're passing by.
Okay.
Just trying to think about that skull.
What?
The skull. Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
nothing.
What?
Okay.
That's just why that's what I want you to know. That's what Dagmaris is thinking.
The skull.
Was there like a skull? Was like Lolth sitting on like a skull chair? Fuck, did I get it?
No, it's kind of close though. Well, I'm not supposed to. I don't know.
Don't look at me.
Fuck!
I can say it in character, but I'm not going to right now.
I could, but I'm not going to.
I got power.
So, what are you guys doing now?
Where have you been already?
Just the temple. We haven't
We're
been to
going
the
to
next
bed
building.
by the one.
You walk now to the lightning bolt-esque shaped building to the left of the temple's main steps, seeing a large wooden double door situated under a ceramic shingled eave. You enter into the stone brick building and find yourself within a rather dark space. No light within, with the exception of the sun shining through arched windows between very oddly simple bunks. Looking to your right, the building progresses into the zigzag you saw prior. Bunks pushing against the various corners and walls in between the windows mentioned prior. The sheets upon them are coarse. You can see the threading from here, and are very far from fine silk or high thread count cotton. But the sun shines brightly through the right side, washing over the sheets and revealing these imperfections along with the mummified remains that lay upon them. You look at the remains and see no clothes upon them. Many ornaments hung around their necks. You see many keys threaded through the coarse twine that the necklaces are made of. The keys are a variety of sizes, some nearly 10 inches long and some made of thick metal. Others are merely 3 and are made far thinner. You notice as well that each of these keys are made from a different material. Some are wooden, others are iron, and some even are marble and what appears to be smoky quartz and hematite. If you want to make a history check, any of you,
I'll give Vivian guidance, and that's it.
History?
Mhm.
18.
18.
What does guidance do again?
D4.
Wow.
What'd you roll?
That'll fix
15.
my natural one,
15?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Oh my god. Vivian.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, natural 1 was all I needed to hear.
9.
18.
I have a +7.
Okay, 18.
Really
So,
shit in
you
the
would
bed.
imagine, after hearing some of Vivian's tales, and along with some of the books that you read when you were sneaking out, these are monks of Hecate. These keys represent the unlocking of potential through the power of Hecate and the mysteries of magic. These keys are thought to help unshackle those burdened with the chains of ignorance, though the lock would only appear to those with the knowledge and wisdom to find it through their pursuit of Gillian's knowledge.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
You all zigzag through what looks to be a clergy building where the monks of Hecate used to rest. And as you reach the end, you find a door, double door, partially cracked open, with no light stemming from it. You would also know, with that history check, that the monks of Hecate used no magic when they were not worshipping Hecate, and therefore none of the lights were magical, and none of the buildings were created with magic surrounding it, including that temple.
Damn, being a cleric of Hecate was hardcore.
So, you walk into this building, into this room, and you immediately see a desk filled to the brim with worn-out candles, burnt down to the wick, wax spilling from their edges, many baubles and trinkets, along with some bookshelves filled with scrolls along the far end. And you see a collapsed, mummified being upon the desk, calmly resting its head upon some pages that look to have been the last writings that he wrote.
Keys around the neck.
Keys around the neck.
Take the keys off the neck.
Okay, so you take the keys off the neck. They're fucking heavy. You see one, again, some wood. Although this one, you notice, has gold, silver, and even mithril and adamantine keys upon his neck.
Oh, the head monk.
I put those on.
Okay, so you
Oh.
put them on.
Nice.
You now have keys of Hecate's monks.
Cool.
Or the keys of unlocked potential. They're not magical, but they do represent something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't read. I mean, I can read. I don't want to.
I'll pick up the last writings of the monk.
It comes out finally at last. Okay, so are you going to read what he was writing?
20 minutes later.
Okay.
So the lich was like, heard you got an old soul, and then they pulled out,
Yeah.
basically.
There's several things very troubling about that.
All soul.
The All Soul in Cruel,
What is this about?
the father of
Glaucon?
I keep forgetting he's here and he doesn't know anything. I didn't say that as Vivian.
That doesn't seem right.
Have you met Glaucon?
No.
Me neither. But I've read a lot of terrible things about him.
I've met him. He's terrible.
He's awful.
I see.
Apparently he tried to commit genocide on
I see.
Against the Aarolendei.
How are these to be trusted? These works?
Yes, more trusted than Glaucon, that is for sure.
The majority of history that is available to humanity has been largely altered.
Okay.
And redacted by Glaucon and the High Elves to keep humanity from understanding the things that they did in the past.
it. Look, they've told me a lot of things too, and I don't believe all of them, but as I've read the things that we've found, it seems to corroborate certain truths.
You are a cleric of Bahamut, correct? Bahamut is okay. Glaucon is not, if that makes sense.
Do you think this city will be dangerous?
No.
No, I don't think it will be.
Something I forgot to tell you
I can't fight.
is that Hecate gave me scrolls of magic before he left, so if I'm doing something, it's because he gave me some.
What scrolls?
Fireball, I think, and arcane missile, or magic missile.
Good spells.
Make sure you know which one you're using before you use it. Fireball is rather dangerous.
Will do.
I'm troubled by the mention of Ivar in this.
Yes.
As the spawn of Ivar the Duplicitous,
I don't
when
understand.
he is talking about Glaucon.
Or was he talking about Quetzalcoatl?
It was in his paragraph about Glaucon Meridian.
The way that it was written, it sounded like Glaucon was the spawn of Ivar. I don't know.
He was
Yes.
talking about.
Well, do we know?
All I can hope for is that he has been long slain and his head has been paraded through the streets of the reclaimed Cruel or a freed Quetzalcoatl, a Meridian family tradition. But enough of that. This is not about the filthy spawn of Ivar the Duplicitous. I don't know what to do with that.
Me neither.
It could just be an insult, right?
It could be.
God of trickery? Maybe he's just like, yeah, maybe he's just like a tricky dragon.
Yes, maybe that's a bit, yes, maybe. Maybe, yes, he was hurling a lot of insults, so maybe that's just what it was.
They don't have a very good family resemblance, if so.
And he's not talking about that about humans, is he?
No,
Anywhere in there?
no. It's interesting to know the name of Gamarian's father.
Who's Gamari?
We don't know if that is his father, right? Wait, who?
Related.
So yeah, who's Gamarian again?
Gamarian is the first lich.
What is a lich?
It is a person who has used necromancy to make themselves not only immortal, but extremely powerful.
And extremely ugly.
There are 10 of them. And they were all created by Gamarian. At least from what we've read.
Okay.
They are the ones that took Cruel from the Aarolendei. And that's why it is so terrifying.
I see.
Apparently, they're also the reason that Glaucon's mother and siblings are dead.
Does Glaucon have a father?
We have not heard anything about his father.
Okay.
Gods can do anything, right?
That is true.
He had 2 brothers, correct? Or she had 3 children. That is, not something I ever thought I was going to read.
What?
That Glaucon might be the spawn of the god of trickery.
It could have been an
It
insult.
sounds like more like an insult to me, but
Sure.
ridiculous to think that all dragons would be spawn of an evil god.
Was Messiandos the mother of all
I
dragons?
wouldn't say Ivar's evil though.
I don't know.
Messiandos just had her 3 children. I'm not saying that all dragons are.
It doesn't seem like Missy Andos would be.
She seems rather nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Ivar did not seem nice.
Yes, but he is a god of
What?
trickery.
I met him once. Twice?
Ivar was nice the
Twice.
first time I met him.
Nasu met him 3 times.
The only time.
Ivar?
The divine barrier has also been broken through. And I think perhaps mended, but Ivar
You've
is
met
still here.
Ivar?
Yes.
I gave him some coin.
At least he
I
said he
know
was
that.
Ivar.
I know that.
He was definitely Ivar.
Yes.
Could have been lying. I didn't actually check. I was too scared.
Interesting.
Alright, I'm gonna look in some of these drawers.
I don't know why they
I start looking around.
all killed themselves, though.
Okay. You
You said
find
they locked themselves in. Or
you
they
find
said
many
they locked themselves
scrolls.
Yes, but
Many of the scrolls are just detailing life on the temple, various meditations,
Prayers and stuff.
tallying. Yeah.
Take a prayer one and a meditation one.
Okay.
Kick ass.
But again, nothing magical that you can find within.
they took a poison, that's what
That makes sense.
the warden of the lake said.
That's why they all died just looking peaceful.
I just don't understand, though, that they had food and they had this magical sun and they had all
They
of their
said that
people.
they didn't want the possibility of their knowledge to be stolen.
I suppose if it's been long enough, then their souls have already been... They've already completed their journey through the river, so even if one of the undead could get in here, they couldn't raise these bodies back up. So I
That
suppose
was their
there's
goal.
that.
Yeah, I mean, the decision between staying in here or going out and being hunted down by a dragon.
I just mean that they still could have lived in here. They still could have...
Perhaps they did not trust the barrier as much. They wished to do more than the bare minimum.
Makes me think that maybe they didn't have anything else to protect in here.
Could be. They care a lot about like, knowledge and discovery and understanding and all that stuff, so maybe a life devoid of that wasn't really worth it.
You would also know, Dagamoris, that monks of Gilnean wrote things down. They had scrolls and archives. However, much of their knowledge was kept within their own minds, not written down and passed down between generations as they lived for so long.
Gotcha.
Eupheme style.
That was part of their culture and a way to spread reverence to Gillian
Okay.
by always keeping that knowledge in here.
They would, I don't think they'd have much of that information written down.
And then I would maybe tell the reason why.
Okay.
I don't know why they would have killed themselves, but it seemed peaceful. Maybe
Knowledge
it
can
was...
be extracted
What?
from the mind, yes?
From dead people?
Well, I don't know.
But
I'm
just
not
by,
sure,
by
but
taking yourself out on your own accord, you have control. Instead of if the liches came or the undead and then started rampaging and killing everyone, easier to just have everyone be dead. And protect knowledge, especially if the monks don't write anything down.
That's fair.
okay.
But I don't, I mean, unless if this is the only knowledge you would have left. Because that is destroying a whole line of stories, knowledge being passed down. To just kill yourself. I feel like there must be something. But that might be it.
There might be something else in the city.
It could be.
In whatever is on the other side of the temple. I mean, of the city.
That it's not.
Yeah, everyone who lived here wasn't a monk who liked to sit in the dark.
I only hope that the collective knowledge of the Aarolendei or something doesn't have anything to do with the orbs that Hector has been collecting from the Matron Mother's tombs.
I doubt it. I don't think that's what he's trying to do.
But then what are those orbs?
We'll ask him.
Orbs? Orbs?
Something about orbs.
It's-
Her dad likes, orbs.
The Matron Mothers are buried with some kind of stone, but they've been missing at every tomb that we've gone to so far.
I see.
I'm just trying to figure out why.
Okay. Well, where to now?
To the city beyond, I suppose.
Yes. I will lead the way.
Okay. So you walk out of the building. Iglid is nowhere to be found.
Motherfucker, that dirty little bitch, I
But
knew
neither
it.
is any of the stone or city. You walk into a void.
What?
No one's there. Yeah, fucker, that fucker, and nothing's there. Fucking
Wait,
the world.
what'd you say?
You walk into an absolute black void.
Oh,
And behind you, the building is gone. You look in front of you again, and you see an old man.
Fuck!
Oh no.
Hello there. It is I, Ivor, the god of trickery.
Yes, it is.
Another city of the Aarolendei. You find yourself within. All of you are getting quite powerful. Since our meeting upon Nero's Peak, I sense you have doubled in power, and you, Dagomoris, I have met your, what is it? Owner, I guess I should call her. Yes, lovely woman, Wolfies. I've been waiting to meet you. She has plenty to say about you. Nothing nice, though, so I will not repeat it. It does not feel good to say such things upon the tongue. And you, Vim. Hello. An old sin on you. It is odd to see you all in such places. You never played to me. Would you like some cards, Dagomoris?
No. No, you don't. You don't want any cards.
Is Commodore still here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like standing in front of
And
him.
he
I'll
is-
stand in front of Commodore as well.
He is.
You. Did not expect to see him with you. Oh, sorry. Would you like some guards? Dagomoris, skirt.
Please.
Look at what has become of your people.
I know. I did have.
I have so many. With more power than you could ever imagine.
You are the god of chaos, correct?
No.
No, not god of chaos. Trickery?
Why would you say that?
It's because you just introduced yourself as that?
No, but... Never mind. Would you like some guards?
Not right now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You see all of the remnants of your people. Perhaps you take revenge on Glauconius.
No, I'm going to be dead in a few months. Or in a month and a half.
Ah, die this morning one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Do you like Titus Markwood?
Why do you seem so afraid, Vivian?
This is my normal face.
You lie.
This is my normal face.
You lie.
I think it's perfectly natural to be scared in front of a god.
I will not harm you. I like seeing where you all go.
So you won't harm any of us? Or are you just talking to them?
I would like to see where you go as well. You are quite powerful. Curious that such a group has formed, yes? What do you think the chances are? Curious. You sure you do not want some cards? I have some right here. Perhaps you kill Titus.
I don't,
Become more powerful.
I don't believe I could kill Titus with any of those cards.
Then you do not believe that I could. And that is simply untrue.
I believe you could. I don't believe you would.
Why?
Because you want to see what is caused by his ruckus.
Ruckus.
Yes.
Fine. You do not want gardens.
Has anyone ever told you that you look like Balazar?
What did you say to me? What did you just say to me?
I've crossed the
And he-
line.
Changes his face.
To
A
Balazar?
a young man. Very attractive. Elven.
I do not look like Balazar.
And you forget that connection was ever made, nor that he ever looked the way he did.
Oops.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, all of us?
Every single one of them.
So when I gave gold to him a long, long time ago, or the little pennies when he was a homeless man, that looked
He's a homeless man.
just homeless man. With
Was
this
not a
kind of
homeless
face, or just
Nope.
Okay.
Do we remember that? We don't remember that homeless guy was Ivar?
Nope.
Ah!
You do not remember seeing him in Kretalai. You do not remember
Oh.
seeing him in Dunbarrow.
Oh, do we remember seeing him on Heroes Peak?
Nope.
We don't remember ever having come in contact with Ivar ever.
Hmm.
Except for this one. Fuck!
The moments that you took cards from him, you do remember, but he is wearing this face instead of the other.
I feel like I should choose a card. This is my one chance.
oh, you will get many. I will come to you, but you are not desperate enough. You only pick one card, yes? Do not wish to manipulate your mind. That is not fun. I've done that before.
I would not manipulate my mind.
I could just make you pick a card, but that is
No,
that is deceit through Hecate, and
Have you done that before?
I have indeed. It does not feel so good.
Right.
It's not deceit in its purest form. So, you only pick one card, yes?
The thing is, if I choose the wrong card and I die, everyone else here dies too.
None of these cards. None of them kill you.
Yes, but you see, Titus wants me dead.
Yes. I know he does. How desperate are you? You must pick at least 5 cards.
What
the
You must pick the whole fucking deck.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It is up to you.
That is the only way.
5 cards. Otherwise you get none. And 2 of them must be drawn by your companions.
Ooh, spicy.
Well, I don't think I'm his companion, so.
You are. Because I tell you, you are.
Oh, wait,
Unless you feel like crying about being punched. Because you punched him.
That wouldn't be the reason, but.
I see. Well, who knows?
That is not. It went from being my decision to our decision. That is not up for me to decide.
They will not remember that you decided for them. Three for you, 1 for them. It is up to you.
Why are you taking so long?
Five, 4.
No.
That is fine. Enjoy your stroll through the tomb of your people. I know I'll enjoy watching you. Goodbye, Dagomoris. there is none. Goodbye.
And he claps his hands, and you walk through the door as normal.
We remember that he gave him the option, and we would have to. Okay.
Icklid is sitting.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you guys just sort of stopped and looked around, I guess.
I'm gonna turn around to Commodore. Are you okay?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Can I insight him?
Do you want to make an insight check?
The man shit his pants.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very good.
17.
Can't really get a read on him.
Wow.
Don't like that.
All right, where are we going to next? Great. I will lead the way. And I just start walking.
Far ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I don't know why he chose that moment to show up. I didn't know Dagamaris was gonna pray to him.
Is that what did it? Is that why you came?
Pray to him.
You didn't.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't
No,
pray to him.
no, he didn't pray, but Ivar said he was expecting it
Which means he must have prayed before.
or thought about it.
He can read our thoughts.
I think he can. Or maybe it's that Dagamaris was thinking about praying to Ivar, and that's how gods work. That they hear that.
I just go onto that. Well, do we have to go back across that bridge thing? I just kind of go to a part where it's kind of like looking in the water, and I just sit on one of the floating bricks and just kind of like look into the water, and I'm just like, yeah.
Rude.
Okay.
Commodore, what was your last name?
Bliss.
Oh, what's your first name?
Commodore?
Oh, I thought that was a title this whole time.
No.
And he's not lying to me.
You can make an insight check.
I didn't know if I had like a number. Insight. Gosh. 19.
Seems to be Commodore's last name.
Okay.
I stand up and I walk back.
Okay.
What cards are in the deck that you know of?
And this is a tough question because I think we drew a lot in
I
a
remember.
different dimension that we didn't actually exist in.
Oh God,
that shit,
but I remember the ones that I originally drew. I just don't.
I think those three, and then after that, I think that literally we don't have any other ones.
I drew
So I think it's just those three.
the idiot, which took some of my intelligence,
All right.
and then I drew throne. No, then I drew gem, which gave me platinum necklaces
All right.
that we lost. And then I drew throne, which I think helped me talk to people. And also apparently I have a keep somewhere on the continent filled with monsters, but it's mine.
Okay.
And then I drew the moon, which gave me a wish that he turned on me.
Do you know how many cards are in the deck, roughly?
No.
All right.
I think I got very lucky. He was very unhappy, so I think there are more bad ones.
When it comes to cards, I don't think there's anything that has to do with luck. The cards don't lie. Especially with the god of trickery. You're going to get what he wants you to get.
But I think he wants a show. I don't think he wants me dead.
I don't think he wants you dead. I don't know what he gets out of us drawing the cards, though.
I don't know what he gets out of you drawing the cards. If it had just been me drawing 5 cards, I would have done it. But if it was because it was with both of you.
He could still want you dead. He just wants you to die slowly.
That's fine.
I don't think he wants any of us dead.
I don't think he does either. He likes playing with us like puppets.
Until we're dead.
Yes, but I don't think he wants us to. I think he wants us to stay alive so he can toy with us.
I think that
That's
there's something.
worse.
I think that there's something much larger going on here.
I agree.
I think what he just said was an acknowledgement of the power that we've achieved. And I think there's something that he knows is going to happen.
I think so too. And he knows that I'm desperate.
Yes.
And he knew that I was thinking about praying to him.
Yes. Apparently.
It was a last-ditch effort in case, when I meet Titus, I was going to choose cards. So, I could have chosen cards there.
I'm sure if you ask, he will come.
Don't make us take it.
I don't want you to have to choose cards. Now, if you're willing, of course, I would do that. But I know you are not, Vivian.
Not right now. I might be, but not right now.
Okay. Icklid,
Yes.
have you met Ivar?
No.
Would you like to choose a card?
What does
No,
that mean?
He doesn't.
I was just wondering.
And he just sort of bows his head back, a bit confused as to what's going on and what's being discussed.
We've got to make Lid into enough, I think.
I was just wondering. Alright, are we going to the city?
I guess.
Alright.
Right, what else is there to do but to keep moving? If he wanted to talk to us or torture us or make us do whatever, then he would do it. So we should just go about a day like it didn't happen.
I think perhaps he already did, right?
Did what?
Torture you,
What makes you say that?
Just mentally.
look upon all your faces.
Well, that's all he'll get from me then.
Wow.
Alright, I'm
Anyway.
going to... I'll keep us a lead. Again.
And I just start going really
Okay.
far ahead.
The most frustrating part of that was that every time we brought up something important, he would go, and then change the subject. Fucking okay. Yeah, we get it. You know things. Ooh.
Hey, man.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Did you say you smelled differently because you
Yeah,
had a bath?
you smelled different. It was probably because you went and saw the divine barrier or something.
Probably because I took a bath.
Maybe because you've been
Maybe.
toiling with some necromancy a little more. You start to
Maybe it
stink
was
like me.
you were in like Hecate's.
Where's the the bear's above? Okay.
Hecate's
I was
bear
like,
is-
The
where's
bear is,
the
yeah,
bear?
in Commodore's house. Yeah.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Doing what bears do best.
Mm-hmm.
Loafing.
All right, so you guys heading across the bridge.
Yes.
So each step, again, bobs like it was suspended in air. Water sloshes upon your boots, and after a few minutes, you walk up the jagged and lumpy stairs that lead up into the up to the wedge-like building. You guys heading north through the farmlands this time? Towards the city?
Yes.
Let's pick some berries.
You walk into the overgrown subterranean farmland, like a thick forest in how the greenery curls over and tumbles into the wide path. The aroma is wonderful. A mix of spices, soil, stone, green, and moisture that dance within your soul. You cannot help but step upon the thick vines of squash that course between the patches of rich dark and spotted soil that erupts into the air with a smell of sweet, fertile earth. The garnet sun shines through the thick leaves of gigantic basil bushes that have grown many feet tall and many feet thick in the absence of Aarolendei and the plentiful magic that soaks into the soil. The orange filters through the green and creates a warm hue that pours onto all of you. You begin to smell the fresh, rooted scent of tomatoes and the tang of olives mingling together, seeing their vines tangling with one another and their bodies fighting for space among the greenery. You walk for at least half of a mile through the many paths of Aarolendei farms, seeing smaller paths branch out, entirely consumed by the plant life. You'd guess the farms stretch about a mile out from where you are, away from the lake, and about a third of a mile towards it, all rife with life. You also see small farmhouses speckling the fields of mineral-rich soil, small towers protruding from their corners, with wooden windows fashioned upon their sides underneath rounded shingled roofs. You walk past the farmhouses that grow from the fields much like the life that surrounds them, seeing small town groupings like villages, like little villages along with the lone homes of the fields. You see tall trees sprouting in the center of 8 to 9 buildings, homes and small shops. And you see the vegetation devouring them all, with only a fragment of their roofs and walls visible through it all. You also see what looks to be windmills mingling within the fields as well, vines wrapping around their broad blades. You notice very little wildlife, if any, only seeing the bugs that have fed and maintained the crops. The sight of but a few spiders sends chills down your spine, and you see many a flying bug buzzing around through the greenery, but not a mouse, nor a bunny, not even a bird in sight. It takes you about 15 minutes to walk around the edge of the farmlands that surrounds the lake, and you see a large stone archway towering above the path you now travel upon. The stone, the same as the Bouveau cap, a creamy gray. The archway rises above the fields, a lodestar amidst the overgrowth. The top of the archway is carved in the shape of a crescent moon laying on its back, and is cradled by the pillars which are carved in the likeness of young elves holding the moon within the crevices of their shoulder, with an open book in one hand and a shovel in the other. Upon the rounded edge of the moon it reads in black speech, "There can be no magic without life, no life without knowledge, and no knowledge without all things."
I'll read that out to everybody.
Okay. You walk underneath the archway to see a familiar, somewhat panic-inducing sight. A city with architecture almost identical to that of which you saw in Telemun Vosterire. You see entirely stone architecture adorned with decorative pillars and temple-like designs. You see shops within the first floors of buildings slightly hidden behind a row of pillars that holds the second floor loft. You see streets of exquisitely carved creamy gray stone brick, flanked by raised sidewalks, accented by lush trees that grow from the exposed soil. You see balconies upon the third and second floors of temple-like ancient Grecian-esque architecture with overgrown ceramic planter boxes hanging from their forms. Looking to the right, at the edge of the city and the fields, you also see tall grain silos alongside the windmills. The city sprawls quite a bit, pushing back from you about 3/4 of a mile away from the lake, while the lake exists about a half mile from where you stand. The streets course through the city methodically, though not always in right angles. Some are angular and rounded, allowing for towers built amidst small parks at the corners and tall trees to loom over the bends in the path. The magical sun bathes the city in its golden hue, revealing the grain of the stone so clearly even from many feet away, revealing the chisel marks made not by magical means, but by the hand and tool. You see some buildings that are tall, possibly 20 feet, and stretch back twice as far, but are rather thin in comparison. The entrance is very much like that of a temple, with 2 pillars flanking an open doorway that leads into a cavernous building with tall ceilings and an entirely open floor. The floors are smooth, covered with very little dust, and littered with storage containers of wood and clay. The first building you find of its kind has a building identical right to its left, though in between is a large space with beautiful cloth hanging from the corners of each, creating cloth roofs of sorts. You see many strands of this cloth, like thick ribbons, many feet wide that leave crescent gaps in their coverage, all of them hanging above an open market. Stalls, barrels, canvas lean-to shops, carts, and crates all remain as if the city were just about to wake up. The buildings on either side of it appear to have been storage for this farmer's market of sorts, that stretched all the way back to the back of the buildings and partially into the streets that exist just behind it. Though you continue to walk, seeing large courtyards surrounded by large pillars that allow for a stone archway to course through each of them, lining only the tops and allowing for small sculptures of birds to rest upon them. Within the courtyards, you see benches of stone and massive gardens filled and overflowing with gorgeous flowers and herbs of purples, greens, whites, yellows, and oranges. You also see many statues of Hecate, her curly, thick hair cascading upon her shoulders and resting well upon the hem of her toga and within the crest of her collarbones. She holds a ceramic vase, as you've seen her depicted before, with a very kind and knowing smile through her lips. These statues do not at all depict her in the same pose, nor does her hair fall in the same place either time, though what does remain the same are the bowls of water that rest just at her feet, shimmering ever so slightly. Eventually, you reach a river of some sort, though very little noise emanates from its depths. But you do see a bridge curving over its width, the water glowing much like the lake below it, the aura licking the bottom of the bridge and illuminating it slightly. Looking down the river, you see many shops and homes built along this cobbled stone bank, their balconies mere feet from above the water. Past the homes, however, you see a large open space with 4 statues towering in its center. As you travel along the strange and wide river, you see a few mummified bodies leaning on the balconies above, and some simply laying just above the water along the stone bank you walk upon. You then walk into an open space and find yourself within a circular courtyard of stone lined with gorgeous buildings just as you've been seeing. Some large, some small, some wide, some tall. You see more streets from other parts of the city ending their paths into the courtyard much like the river-laden path you walked upon did. Amidst the courtyard, spotting the stone, are large birch trees that have long since overgrown their plot, their roots upturning the stone bricks and leaping from the ground before diving back downwards. You see carts and more stalls underneath the trees and amidst the stone, some skeletons laying beneath the trees as well. The canvas tops of the stalls vary in color, all of them pastel and mixing well with the surrounding palette of colors. In the center of the courtyard, you see 4 very large statues, each of them depicting an Aarolendeish man or woman dancing, their feet tumbling from the stone like water, making ripples as if they actually were, tumbling from them like a wake. Their form differs between each of them, some of them on one leg with the other pushed back, others dipping down with both feet under the stone. But the one thing they share in common is that each of them is reaching their left hand out towards a plain ceramic jug, their index fingers just barely touching the sides and allowing all 4 of them to hold it 25 feet in the air. From the jug's wide mouth, a waterfall tumbles seemingly out of nowhere. The magical water crashes between the 4 dancing statues and flows with grace and richness into the river you walked upon, creating it in its entirety, a river at least 12 feet deep, flowing from a single ceramic jug.
Damn.
You stand amidst the City of Selm. You begin to notice the buildings becoming a bit more regal in their designs. The trimming fashioned with more decoration, and the stone a bit more fine cut. More trees appear to have been planted amidst the stone as well as you traverse further west. More vines lay lightly upon the roads, and more flowers spring to life along the perimeter of what little dirt is left for them among the many, many plants and fungus. You also begin to notice Amidst the sprawl of the city, large and jagged rock formations that impede the flow of it, most certainly a remnant of the mountain that the Aarolendei left when building the city. However, small statues have been placed along the edges of each cleft of it, along with ribbons and tattered cloth that sits rather still in the windless city. The cloth is of various different colors, red and white, blue and green, purple and crimson, and the statues all depict various older Aarolendei, wearing long, simple robes with chains or keys draped upon them, or wearing no clothes at all, their older bodies displayed proudly along the edges of the stone with large bowls of water just nearby. You see ahead of you a massive tablet of stone towers above a sea of leaves. The tablet is thick and a pale gray, just like the stone around you. It stretches about 40 feet into the air, you'd assume, and is covered from top to bottom in deep waxed carvings, along with a singular large hole just at the top of it that carves through its thick form. You see this first, though what lays beneath it is just as intriguing and beautiful. A path leading deep into a lush forest of gigantic cherry blossom trees in full bloom, illuminated by lanterns consumed in vines filled with a deep blue light that washes over everything around them. You walk underneath their long, chocolatey branches amidst a rain of pink petals that fall lightly from their branches. You walk upon them, feeling their velvety texture beneath your feet, and seeing them cover the old stone path of the elves. They fall upon voluptuous bushes that hold within them many dozens of vibrant orange and yellow cloudberries, which contrast so nicely with the cherry blossoms that rain through the air. You see deep, also vibrant orange with white rim mushrooms growing at their base, partially buried and feasting upon the dead foliage that had fallen in the eons past. The path is lined with red brick that has all but been lost to the thick green moss, the same you saw on your way up. You think there may have been butterflies and birds amidst all this flora, though none exist now. You think there may have been much reading done upon the benches that are now unrecognizable underneath the layers of moss, dead foliage, and button mushrooms. You imagine many an elf walking underneath the same trees you do now, smiles on their faces, books in hand, wands swishing in the air, and friends at their arms, though you see none now. Dagamaris, in particular, looks solemn. He looks solemnly down a particularly long path that pushes deeper into the enchanting garden. The path appears to stretch for quite a ways, and the branches above it make a tunnel whose walls are awash in the light of the magical lanterns. The petals fall in the distance with such deafening silence you hear them fall gently, like tiny footsteps upon foam. His face sinks, and his shoulders, for the first time you've ever seen, sink. His chin droops slightly, and his fist unclenches beyond an uncharacteristically relaxed jaw.
I'm gonna go down this path.
Do you want us to follow?
You can, yes, if you want, or if you don't want to, that is also okay. Up to you.
And I just start going down that.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow it. Are you?
I'll follow behind.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give him some distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
You walk further in towards the towering slab of stone, eventually finding where it rests. You see a large hill covered in various flowers and dense green grass along the overgrowth. And upon its top, the stone slab protrudes from the soil and towers into the air. The circle of soil and grass is quite large, perhaps 100 feet in diameter, and no trees grow upon it, leaving the sky, or at least what would be the sky, wide open above you. The area is encircled by the cherry blossoms that make up the area, and is raised and contained by a short stone wall lined with benches. Cut through the center of the circle is a stair that leads to the gigantic and towering stone slab, and a path that goes right up to it, cutting through the grass. Do you approach it?
Yes.
Okay. The stone, as you approach it, is smooth as a river's rock might be, with deep grooves seen all along it, with seemingly no rhyme or reason to it. The gouges in the stone are all painted a deep black, swirling in the stone and making beautiful shapes within it. You notice too, though, that there are patches of the stone left untouched by these shapes. And as you look at it a bit longer, Vivian realizes what the shapes are. They are names, made to swirl and bind into each other in black speech. You see thousands of names stretching up its body. Again, only patches of it left without a single name, most likely for names never born and never written.
I think this is a memorial.
Not necessarily. You also remember in that book that they would greet every single child, the entire city would greet the child as they were born.
Oh. I read in the last rune we were in that when a new child was born, the entire city would greet them. This might be a celebration of those that were born here.
That is nice.
Are there any names that...
You cannot read.
Oh, right.
Well, you can read, you just can't read black speech.
You can't fucking read.
Yeah, we're in the same boat.
That's actually why you keep saying that you like stories more.
Yeah. I just can't. I bluff through it.
Yeah. all the shit that he's read, he's just guessing.
She's like, can I see it after you? And you're like, no.
Nope.
Just trust me.
That's it. You got it.
Yeah, are there any names that pop out in particular?
Make an investigation check.
Guidance.
16.
Okay, so you see names like Aeneas, Selisa Caradrun, Plestos Delentes, and one name in particular that when you read, Dagamaris remembers something. You read the name Calthales,
I remember that name as well.
Strakovar's last name.
Oh.
No. What was... Is there a first name?
You cannot find one.
Why? Do you recognize that one?
Possibly. It is my last name. Or the last name of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was her family, or some form of my family. Interesting.
Could she have been born here?
She could have. I guess. I don't... Yes. Could have. I don't know much about my mother.
There's no first name.
I can't see it.
It's a nice place to have grown up then.
Yes. It is.
I don't think it was her.
Why?
Oh no. I think if you had been born in a place like this, I don't know why you would have turned to Lolth.
Maybe she moved before the city you were born in turned to Lolth.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think you could be... Well, she would have had to have been very young. Because I don't think you can go from living in a place like this to then going and... I don't know, doing what she would do.
Wonder if we can find their home.
Maybe, but only if we stumble upon it. I don't care about looking for it. If that makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Yes. Cool. Great. Anywhere else that we need to go in the forest? It's just deeper.
Let's just go deeper then.
Alright. I'll lead the way.
Okay. You walk northwest within the forest of cherry blossom trees upon the winding pathways that course beneath you. Along the way, you see small meadows and tiny patches of rolling hills amidst the greenery. And you see the mummified remains of those who decided to spend their last moments amidst the trees. It takes you a while, but after about 5 minutes of walking, you see a tall wall through the trees ahead of you. Getting closer upon the path, you see a large and beautifully ornate gate. The wall is made of thick marble and hornblende stone bricks, the size of small carts, topped with ramparts that are fashioned with various bronze statues that seem to spill out between each stone fortification. The walls are no less than 40 feet tall, though what catches your eye the most is the gate, topped with a large arch that is adorned with an immense statue of Gillian reading a book upon it. Sitting upon where the ramparts otherwise might be, the gate is not stone, metal, nor is it wood, but a thick, viscous, and strangely beautiful liquid replaces any of the above. Dagamaris and Vivian remember a doorway similar in Tilia Mondelitas, though this is nearly 30 times the size of those doorways you saw in the prison. And the coloration is not of snot, but of vibrant white, purple, violet, and blue filled with stars. The liquid flows into the stone below, seemingly vanishing within the solid floor of it, and flows just beneath the large statue of Gillian, just above. On either side of the strange gate, 2 banners hang. The background of it is of a very light violet color, and it is lined with thick cloth doils of silver. At the top and center of the long banner is a depiction of a stone brain cracked open and pulled apart by a set of old hands, allowing a long bout of water to spill from it. At the end of the water, Hecate is formed, arms spread in an eagle dive toward the pointed end of the banner.
Well, let's see if we can get this door open.
It's just drip. It's just like
Flowing.
Flowing.
Very thick, viscous
Can
fluid.
I try to like put my hand through it?
Okay, so you walk up to the giant gate. About 40 feet tall, this is. As you walk toward the gate of shimmering liquid, you hear a loud hum. Boom. And you feel a quake beneath your feet of moderate strength. You begin to hear loud thuds just beyond the wall, and shortly after, you see a silhouette of something quite large behind the viscous fluid. You see a large metallic arm reach out from the gate, the fluid flowing through it as if it did not exist. The arm is that of Mithril, to be sure, the familiar light blue hue reflecting the lantern light and the aura of the gate itself. The arm is familiar in its make almost, like Clink. Gears tumbling within the joints, and plates of mithril acting as skin of sorts, protecting the tubes and arcane wiring that flow underneath. The shoulder and the face push out from the liquid as well, revealing even more similarities with your lost companion. You see large chest plates that replace the pectoral muscles of the humanoid body, and large pauldrons of ornately crafted mithril carved into the shape of large hands that push out from the metal and grasp upon thick cloth that falls down behind the being's back like a cloak.
What a cool.
Crossing the metallic being's chest is a deep crimson and white toga clasped at the left shoulder with a sigil of gold and the same symbol upon it as the banner on either side of the gate. The being's face is stoic and unmoving without the parts that appear to shift on their own, like a mask, though the face is reminiscent of an elf's in how it's carved. The being stands about 8 feet tall, its head bald and shining with 2 long elf ears, the same as Vivian's, protruding from its sides. It...
Clink?
Hello.
To Aarolendei,
Yes.
Yes.
Human. Looks to Commodore. Human. Looks to Icklid. Human. Names, both of you.
Vivian.
Srakovar.
I smell deceit among you. Deceitful magic. Billowing.
I'm sorry, it's probably
Necromancy.
me. Yes.
And he reaches into the gate. Massive chain.
Oh, please.
Before a flail.
No. Oh, no. No,
Lands
no, no,
on
no,
the
no.
ground. A circle. Dust. Billowing out.
I'm not working with them. I promise, I promise.
Prepare.
I'm sorry. Please,
Roll
no.
initiative.
Prepare.
Roll initiative, all of you.
God, I hate being a necromancer sometimes.
Natural 20. Let's
Fuck.
fuck.
Hey, okay.
Get it.
Okay, so, Dagamoris, you see that happen. There's the flail. Creates almost a divot in the soil. What are you doing?
Haste.
Okay, so you
Cast haste.
feel your heart in your chest.
Cool. Then I will. How far away is he?
20 feet from you.
Okay, and my speed is doubled, so I'm gonna move up to him.
Okay, so you
quickly,
run up.
and then I'm going to inflict wounds at the 4th level.
Okay.
And then I'll quicken and inflict wounds at the 3rd level. Should I just
Just do
One at a
inflict
time?
wounds
Okay.
first. Yeah.
Cool.
So make an attack roll.
18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Cool. So then roll damage.
Mhm.
26 points of damage.
Jeez.
And
Okay.
Wow.
So 26. So as you run up, your hand explodes with the green, white, and black lightning. You push against its leg, pretty tall above you, about 3 feet bigger than you. As it, you don't think that it does as much,
Okay.
and it looks down, traitor to your people.
Okay, cool. But I get to keep going.
Yes.
Alright. Sounds good. Yeah, great. So we're gonna quicken, and I'm going to do. I mean, if it didn't do as much, but at the same time, like, I don't know fucking much I can do. I'm just gonna fucking keep going for it. We're just gonna inflict wounds at the 3rd level.
Okay.
Cool. I'll roll for that one, I guess. 17 to hit.
Misses.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
kicks it out of the way. Okay.
Action surge.
Action search.
Yeah.
Inflict wounds at the 3rd level again.
Okay. Attack roll.
Hit him with that shit.
It hits.
Okay.
22.
Sure. It just hits.
It's okay. 15 plus 13, so 28 plus 30. 34. Sorry, I had to do math. 34 points of damage.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Holy
And then-
shit. Okay, so that does half.
That's fine.
Still, it.
And I'm gonna do my second action, 2nd level inflict wounds.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, no. You don't get the second action when you. Oh wait, you
yeah.
would because it
Haste
gives
it,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Natural 1.
Okay, so you
Yep.
go through it.
And
Misses.
then quicken spell. Do it again, 2nd level.
Okay.
Sorry, I know.
Run through all your spell slots in one turn is pretty intense.
2.
Okay, misses. Again, kicks you out of the way. Disgusting. Icklid's turn. No, Vivian's turn.
I'm gonna try and polymorph him.
Okay.
I
Gets
don't wanna-
advantage on all spell effects.
Oh!
19.
See wise?
Alright, well, I'm gonna take some steps back.
Okay.
Max movement backwards.
Okay, so you're going to be 50 feet away from him then. And sort of into the woods a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
It is now
wanna
Icklid's
wreck
turn.
him, man.
Icklid's
He's
gonna
so cool.
back up too.
Okay.
Towards
How much?
the woods.
Okay, so about 50 feet.
And then cast Eldritch Blast
Okay, make an attack roll.
from the book, I suppose.
Baths.
That's not 13.
Misses.
First attack, second attack,
Goes wide.
12. Oh no, I'm sorry, 17.
Misses. Both of them. One of them actually does. Hits, glances off the mithril plating. Okay, so Icklid is 50 feet away. It is now its turn. Okay. With its massive flail, it is going to bring it down on Dagamaris. That's caught. That is a miss. Wait. Yes, that is a miss.
You have like 22 armor right
I
now?
have 22 armor.
Yeah, both miss.
Yeah.
As you definitely maneuver away from both of them, you feel that the weight of it is intense, though. And as it hits the soil, you see a spark of arcane explode out from each hit,
Yikes.
leaving large craters where it hits. But those are both of its attacks. Okay. As that finishes, two of the statues on either side, two of the bronze statues on either side of the gate fall to the ground and get up. But they cannot move right now.
So sad right now.
It is now Eupheme Delianor, Elder Crest's turn.
I'm going to cast my hex on the main guy.
Okay.
What are the other guys doing?
They're walking towards you right now. They're about 15 feet away from you on either side. Sorry, 20 feet away from you on either side of the gate.
On either side?
Mm-hmm.
Mage armor.
Okay. Mage armor
And I'll
pops.
stare one down.
Okay. It is now Dagamaris Skirta's turn again.
Okay, perfect. I'm just using my sword. He trip attack. That would be a miss. 12.
Yes, that misses as you try and go in.
I'm gonna do it again.
Okay.
15. I'm gonna use Favored by the Gods.
Ooh!
Okay, favored by the
that
gods.
Shit!
Well, no, I'm actually not, because the odds are against me in that, because it's only +4. No, plus 2d4?
2d4.
Oh, 2d4. I don't know why I only thought it was +1d4. Even fucking roll in my hand. Okay, it's a miss. It was a 17.
Yeah, that misses.
Cool.
Both attacks
So-
miss.
Great.
Just barely, right?
I'll move back
Okay.
40 feet. I know he gets a
Yeah.
attack.
opportunity attack. Yeah, that hits. That's 25. Nope, sorry, 28 to hit.
Sure.
You take 34 points of damage as the flail
Ouch.
collides with your shoulder. You feel an explosion of magic as you skid across the ground before you continue to move. Okay, that is Dagamaris' turn. You are now 40 feet away. Are you running towards like where Vivian is?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to another Abridged combat episode. The middle portions of this combat have been taken out. It's about 17 to 18 minutes long. But if you wanted to go and watch the full, uncut version of this combat, you can go watch it in the description below. There's a link that will lead you there to the 18 minutes that I cut out. And then you can just come right back on over here if you wish to see it. But if you want to just skip on forward and get to the end of the combat for the ramifications and the loot and so on, then stick around and find out. It is now its turn.
That thing is still standing?
Yeah.
Enough. You see runes out from it, like a circle, consuming all of you. Etched into the ground by lightning. Each crevice of it begins to glow. Burn
Oh!
in the Aarolendei flame.
That shit.
It explodes.
Yeah. The noise before.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
motion, it's like, and you're like, what the?
Yeah. All of you make Constitution saving throws.
Con save! Damn it.
I'm
Even
using
Icklid
the
and
bone
Vivian?
dice.
Every single person.
I have really good con.
Congratulations.
I wasn't meant to be a flight because you just said even Icklid and Vivian. I was like, I'm good.
It is not good anymore.
Con save. Okay.
What'd you roll?
23.
23.
Haste is concentration,
yes.
but I haven't.
You haven't done anything
Yeah, you
concentration,
just
and
did.
you did get attacked once.
But
I didn't have you roll on it, so it's my bad. What'd you roll for con?
18.
Icklid rolled 16. Icklid rolled a 16.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
Okay. Icklid and Eupheme, you both fail. Both of you succeed. Commodore Bliss needs to roll in as well.
Commodore Bliss!
Commodore!
No.
Fails.
Commodore! Commodore's like, I'm having.
We cannot protect anyone, can we?
I'm not gonna roll this many dice on my.
Oh, I was like, what the?
Okay.
I'm not gonna roll this many dice.
Eupheme and Icklid, you take 50 points of damage, both of you. You take 25. Vivian takes 25, and Commodore also takes the full 50.
Is he standing?
Doesn't look like it. You don't see it yet. So
I don't see it yet.
you see a blinding light as lightning. You see the ground raise all around you for a second before it. You see only a flash of bright blue and scorching pain all throughout your body. The only way that you two resist it is through innate magical resistance, but everyone else, your skin filled with large burns and blisters. Icklid, you see, is missing a leg, spurting blood from it. Unconscious. Commodore is on the ground, also seemingly unconscious. Okay. The Guardian nearly purged. And it is now Eupheme's turn.
I'm healing you, Icklid.
Okay.
I'm gonna
The leg cannot be reattached because it does not exist. It was disintegrated.
Oh my god.
So just as a disintegration ray doesn't allow any form of revivify, this leg cannot be retrieved.
Is it above the knee, below the knee?
Right below the hip. The entire
His
leg is
whole
gone.
leg?
His entire leg is gone.
Man.
cure wounds and healing word.
You
That's
see-
the way I cope with things.
You see just below, the wound closes as it heals, and Icklid looking up at you, Eupheme.
Heals for 14.
Okay. Jeez. All right. It is now Dagamaris' turn.
How? That was a crazy attack.
Mm-hmm.
I want that.
Same.
I don't want to be a traitor anymore. I want that spell. So what do I do to roll concentration on my haste?
Roll a Constitution saving throw, and it has to be 25. Sorry, you only took 25, so it has to be half of that. It has to be 12.
13.
Okay, so you maintain concentration.
That doesn't count as an action to maintain.
No, it does not.
I'm going to... Did I think that any of those fire things that I was hitting him with did anything?
They seem to do damage.
They seem to do at least some damage.
Mhm.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool, that's...
Noted.
Yeah, that's like, okay, good. I'm going to do Firebolt.
Firebolt.
26
Yeah, that hits.
for 16 points of damage.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it again. That is 7 points of damage. And then I'm going to Healing Word as a bonus action.
To yourself?
No, not to myself. I'm doing just Dandy. I'm going to Healing Word. Because this is 2 people. The healing includes one. Wait. No, it's only for 1 person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Healing Word. Eupheme.
Okay.
Plus 12, so 12 points of healing for you.
Okay. Vivian. it
How's
is
he
your-
looking?
And pretty rough, actually. You see some mithril plates falling off, dents in it. Although he looks rough, and the gears seem to be standing straight up.
Yeah, I figured.
No pain.
I want to use my new spell, even though it's a dex save, so I'm gonna. Immolation.
Immolation. Dex save?
Yep.
Okay, advantage.
That's a good move.
He has advantage, though.
Oh, on magic shit? Oh, that's...
10.
Sorry. Cool. Cute. That's 27 points of fire damage. And he has to make a...
Yeah, how do you want to do this, Steve?
Okay, seeing everybody just absolutely, like, crumble, I just want to whip out my wand, and having just honed fireball into this, I want to shoot a very concentrated blue beam of fire and just walk right up to him and just melt him down.
Okay. You don't melt him, because it's mithril.
Well, I'm gonna
However,
fuck him up.
As you... the fire... yeah, absolutely. As you...
That's the energy!
You shoot the fire into him. It funnels from Hector's wand. You see the ivory cracking a bit magically.
Shh, no, don't do that.
No.
Okay.
You've seen wands do this before. They burst from the Hecatian magic that pummels through it. You, as it, the creature onto the ground. You, the gears inside of it are not mithril, and you see them begin to melt together, and you eventually see the white light in the eyes fade away.
Cool.
There you are.
I am gonna run immediately over and stabilize Commodore Bliss.
Oh,
I'm gonna heal him.
I
Oh,
can
just
spare
kidding.
the dying. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I forgot you guys have.
Okay,
magic
what are
for
you
that.
doing? Who's doing what?
I want to heal him with healing word.
Okay.
Okay, so you healing word.
Okay, then I will just
Roll for healing.
6.
Okay, so
Nice.
I'd like to grab him and take him over to Hecate.
okay, so you,
I'll help because I'm.
he drags over. What?
I need you to fix him.
I can't.
You're a cleric.
I know I'm not that powerful. I can't restore limbs.
Do you know someone who can?
I know someone. Not close.
And Icklid looks down. Where's my leg? Eupheme, did you find it?
I don't.
Have you found... I need that. Where's my leg at?
I'll figure it out. Just rest for right now.
Jacob Morris, have you seen my leg? Anywhere. And he tries to get up. Falls over. I can't find it anywhere. I've looked. I need that. I can't find my dad without my leg. Baz crawls out.
Can you do something?
Then he speaks in common.
Oh.
I thought you were gonna protect him. No, I can't do anything. More damage to the kid.
Then he, into a rat, crawls into the nook of Icklid's chest. I can't feel it for some reason. What's going on? It's a bit cold down there. Is it cold for you guys? Am I in like a puddle of water?
Here, let's get you off.
Why is everyone looking at me like that, though?
I can't be.
Why are you helping me out, Dago?
Because I'm the strongest.
I know, but I don't need it. Just find me my leg.
I'll go look for it.
Okay.
Alright, we'll go look for it.
I'm gonna walk into the forest.
Okay. What are you doing?
Walking, yeah, to the forest. Kind of back towards the rune thing.
Where's everyone going, Vivian? Where's my leg?
It's gone, Higlet.
Really? My leg's gone.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not gone. I'm an adventurer, right?
We can find something. I'm gonna try and find something, okay?
What about the power?
What power?
I thought that was made me special.
It does. Things still happen to us, though. I'm sorry, Higlet.
Vinny,
Yeah.
on the ground.
I'll just sit next to him. I can't, like, give him a creepy necromancy leg, can I?
No.
I can't, like, fashion a corpse leg.
Oh gosh.
You're not that
And
skilled in
attach it?
necromancy.
Oh yikes.
Can I practice?
There's no flesh around you.
Fuck.
Oh.
Okay, how long are you guys in the forest?
I come back after like 5 minutes at most.
Nicola's just laying there. Bath is just still curled up on his chest. And Vivian is sitting next to him. How long are you going to be in the forest?
I don't know. I have to come back eventually, right? Yeah, I'll come back.
You walk through the cherry blossoms. Arrive to see the same thing. Dagamaris, they're a bit before you.
I told him.
Commodore is with Vivian. He took it surprisingly well. I think, at least.
He's in shock.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry I could not do anything. It is not within my power.
There's not many people that probably could.
Yes, I agree. Only some in the Tower of, or in the Cathedral of Bahamut.
Yes.
I'm gonna cast Stone Shape. And I'm gonna make him like a walking stick or like a crutch out of stone.
Easy enough to do. What is that?
It's a crutch so you can walk at least through here. Until we can find you something better.
You guys going? Going without me?
No,
I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to. I just want to lay here.
we don't need to keep going.
Otherwise, I just lost my leisure for no reason.
Commodore, I know you want to see the rest of this city, but could you bring Hecate back out?
I'll stay with the clip.
Are you sure?
This is not incredibly invested in seeing more anyway. The force is nice.
is the next forest, yes.
We'll be quick about it.
Alright.
Would you guys like to investigate the guardian's body?
Yeah.
Okay, make an investigation roll.
I'll help you. A shit ton of melted stuff in the middle, and then
19.
You find 8 feet of silver wiring, 1 gallon of magically enhanced mineral oil, 4 salvageable 8-pound plates of mithril,
Oh.
and that's light too, isn't
Mhm.
it? Nice.
and a stone with various etchings within it just behind the mask, plated behind a rounded stone.
I want to cast ritual. I want to ritual cast identify on the stone.
Okay, this is what is known as the Guardian's Nose. The stone you see has many divination runes etched upon its face, fused with various abjuration symbols. The symbols combine together to make what could almost be thought of as a new magical symbol. Those well versed in magic you would know the symbols are melded so that the different schools of magic can coalesce and meld and live harmoniously in the same item. However, this combination of schools also makes the item more unstable over long periods of time. So, one may use the stone as an action to cast the spell Detect Magic. If magic is detected, the user may then use Dispel Magic at the 6th level as a bonus action in the same turn. However, many eons have passed since its creation, leaving the stone both unstable and sapped of much of its magic. After each use, you must roll a d100. If one is to roll above a 75, the stone remains at full power. If one rolls below 75 but above 30, the stone begins to lose power, and from that point on has 5 charges of use left. If one rolls below a 30, the stone loses 2 charges of the 5. If one is to roll a 1 to 5, the stone explodes, forcing every creature within 40 feet to make a DC 17 Dex save, dealing 8d6 force damage on a failed one, and half on a successful one. And that is on D&D Beyond.
Kick ass.
I'm gonna take it, but
Okay.
yeah, it's called. What was it called again?
The Guardian's Nose.
Guardian's Nose. Before we head off, should we rest?
No, I'm not tired. I don't want to be in here any longer than I need to be. And after all that,
Alright. We don't know if we're gonna meet any others like that.
we can just run if need be, right?
That is true.
I'm gonna try and go through I want to try and touch the.
Feel the sting of it, like jellyfish.
I try to.
It's probably very powerful. I can't.
Go through.
Oh, it's because I'm a dirty little necromancer.
Alright. Should I go check just to see what's on the other side?
Sure.
Alright.
You want to go alone?
Commodore, can you come with?
Yeah.
Alright. Then I guess it is you and I.
Yes. Walks through.
He fucking gave you that eye.
I have.
He gave you the eye.
Did you see the face he made when I asked him to take Eclid out?
Oh,
He,
take
like,
him out of
He
it.
looked mad at me.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna die. Commodore's gonna
I'm
kill me.
suspicious. That was weird.
Why would Commodore kill
I
you?
don't know. I'm just saying. All right.
Is this our Greta McDonagh?
Yeah, dude, really. All right, here I am. We're going.
Okay. You see before you an expansive campus of rolling hills and tall and thick birch trees that grow above small garden areas and winding paths that course through it all. Scattered throughout are large stone buildings that look very similar to the Temple of Hecate. 20-foot pillars holding huge slabs of stone roof upon them. However, only some of them appear entirely open, though all of them have the same pedimentary roof that the temples and buildings hold. The first building you come across sits upon a hill and is far smaller than that of the Temple of Hecate, perhaps 1/5 of the size. But the architecture is fairly similar in that there are rows of pillars that stretch around its perimeter, holding the stone aloft and ridged decoratively, made of the same hornblende marble you've grown so accustomed to seeing. The building appears sideways facing you lengthwise, and the far wall is not open. Rather, a wall impedes your view to the campus that rests beyond it. Along this back wall is a large blackboard, chalk still etched upon it, with towering bookshelves on either side of it as well. Before the chalkboard, you see steps leading to a few raised platforms, the first being what you'd assume is the lecturing area. But there appears to be 2 more raised areas that stem off of this one just before bookshelves on either side, large crystal domes upon pedestals at chest height at their tops. Before the steps, you see various pillows and seating areas on the ground. You see amidst the seating pillows and sitting cubbies carved within the stone, rolls of parchment and many inkwells and quills, some of their contents spilled out long ago, staining the stone with the ink they used to hold. Upon the chalkboards looks to be beginner calculus, specifically derivatives and some higher level trigonometry.
Right. I go to look at the books.
Okay, they look to be math books. A bit of like, you even see one on black speech literature.
All right, I'll take that one.
Okay, it looks to be the equivalent of an English 101 book.
Okay. That's cool. I'll take that, and then you said the building's to one side.
So it's just an open temple, except for the wall that holds the black.
Okay.
Yeah, the blackboards. Yeah.
Commodore, anything that you find interesting or want to look at in here?
No, not really. Not right now. I'd need more time though. So let's just continue, I guess, if we have people waiting.
All right, then we continue.
Okay. All right. You see many buildings like that throughout the large campus, as well as large bowls of water beneath statues of Hecate that have been placed along the paths you walk upon. An air of calm surrounds you as you persist through the pathways within the tall walls. You smell the aroma of roses mixed with the scent of mulching leaves and the dust of gravel as you kick it up beneath your feet. You can imagine the actual sun above your head, feeling its heat beat upon you instead of the stone that towers above the city and in place of the magical sun that just doesn't feel the same. Eventually, the winding paths all lead to a rather massive clearing filled with an interestingly shaped set of buildings and a towering statue at its front. You exit the line of sparse woods and find yourself looking up at a statue of Gillian cradling 2 elven babies. A sight none you have not seen before. The old man is dressed in a ragged robe with large candles dangling from his earlobes like strange earrings. His face, filled with wrinkles, is awash with love and joy as he looks down at the rather upset infants in the nooks of his arms. He appears to laugh heartily as they cry, though not in a malicious way. The statue is lined with stone bricks upon a short but wide hill that you climb upon. Beyond the statue, you see a massive structure before you. Its shape is that of a U and is made in 2 layers. The first of these is an extremely tall foundational bit of stone, perhaps 16 feet of it, carved deep into with immaculate carvings of various deeds, creating 3-dimensional scenes within the stone. The second layer is that of more Grecian-style architecture. However, this is a far cry from the others you've seen, as it is far larger and shaped far differently. The entire thing is one building built upon the U-shaped foundation, though the rows of pillars remain wrapped around the entire structure as the temples, homes, and small lecture halls have been the same pedimentary roofs hoisted upon them. At the center of the U, flanked by the structure itself, is a tall and incredibly wide stair that leads into a stone courtyard which exists at the base of the U amidst the building. At the far end of this courtyard, from what you can see from where you are, The building billows in height about 3 times, as if the temple of Hecate were placed in the center of the U before it continues on either side of it. Do you walk closer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Within the stone carvings are serene statues of elves and humans fighting alongside each other upon the fields of Corphaean. The entire foundation of the structure above is a battlefield that wraps around within the stone, persistent and ever-changing as you look around it. You see elves wearing thick armor of bark and stone and wielding glaives of crystal. You see humans fighting viciously alongside them with weapons such as clubs and rudimentary stone spears, though primarily with their bodies, fist, tooth, and nail. Though what they fight against is the most troubling sight. Other elves and other humans along gigantic monstrosities of flesh and magic. Each side, with the exception of the monstrous companions on one of them, look the same. Their faces warped with the same fear more than rage, and their eyes drenched with the familiar sadness and hate. In the distance, within the stone, you see Terradosia and a massive winged beast latched onto its trunk and biting down hard upon its wooden flesh. If you would like to make a religion or history check, you can feel free.
This is just Dagmaris, right? This is further in the...
Religion check. Religion. 12.
Okay, I'd say with Commodore there, make it with advantage.
Come on, man. Come on. Fucking 12 again.
Okay. You do not know who that is.
Does it look like a dragon?
No, does not. Okay. You walk up the steps, which are no less than 80 feet wide from either end, and are at least 100 steps strong in number before you reach the top. The grandeur of it is daunting, though at this point you have seen Aerolendish architecture and expect no less. You reach the courtyard, large and flanked on every side but behind you by a singular structure. The scope is awe-inspiring. Each pillar sculpted in the shape of Aarolendei, hundreds of them, all 30 feet tall and holding the temple's roofs upon their head. Many, many tons of stone held above their naked bodies with their hands shoved into their chest, their fingers flowering outward, and scrolls gripped tightly in their free hands. You look then again at the large stone courtyard before you, entirely flat and undecorated, though you do see many scorch marks upon the stone, remnants of many large fires set within the courtyard. Beyond the pillars, you see not empty space, but instead a covered pathway that wraps around many inner buildings and rooms within the confines of the pillars, about 8 feet or so beyond them. At the far end of the courtyard, directly in front of the stairs, rests a building rivaling the size of the temple Vivian saw in Telemund Vaster. The building is not separate from that of the rest of the U, though it is far larger, causing the roof to tower above the rest about 40 feet. The architecture is the same, though. The pillars are not are simply grooved marble instead of depictions of the Aarolendei. The pillars do not impede the entrance, though they do flank it on either side, revealing the open archway. Above it, etched into the stone and pointed lip of the roof, it reads, "The Athenaeum of Gilean."
Okay, I go in.
Okay. You walk toward the large center portion of the massive U-shaped building. At this point, though, what are you doing, Vivian? And what are all of you doing?
I'm just sitting.
With Hecate?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere further to go? Beyond this area?
Yeah, there are more places of the city, but...
I'll go do that.
Okay, make an intelligence check for me.
Oh, fuck.
Her brain shut
Just
off.
break in.
Just run.
I don't want to break in because I wanted to be protected if any liches actually come through here. I can't turn it back on.
What'd you roll?
12.
12? You'd think that the mithril plates of the being would protect you from the magic
from
of
getting
the gate.
zapped?
It would hide your...
My evilness?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up 2.
Okay. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Fuck.
If you were
Bonus.
trapped in this, you might die.
Oh, I'm not doing that then.
Oh god.
It is a low DC.
Okay, but I will roll a 1 if you say that.
If you want to see.
Just for shits and gigs, just roll it. But
16 plus.
Okay.
It's a 19.
it was a fucking 1.
Oh
no.
What'd you get?
19.
Okay. So you push through. You do feel a bit of a sting,
That's how.
and you take 2 points of damage.
I have to do it on the way back out.
Yes.
I'm gonna die here.
Hey, it ain't a bad place to live. Except
I have to save my
Okay.
dad.
So you go through, and you see exactly
save
what
my
Dagomar
dad.
saw at the beginning. I'll say that this is happening quite soon after Dagomar entered. Okay.
I already took a cool book.
Yep. You walk toward the large center portion of the massive U-shaped building, seeing a bit past the archway now and into the lit space that lays within. You see, at the back of it, many dozens of feet from the archway, an incredibly large statue of Gillian sitting upon a throne with a stern look in his eyes. The depiction is reminiscent of Balanzar's in Titus's throne room, though it is much different, as Gillian only looks similar to Balanzar in the fact that he is both human and old. The statue towers about 70 feet above the ground and is around 30 feet wide at its base. You walk at first through the covered pathway that exists before you enter into this large building, seeing the path stretch on either side of you, the long shadows of the pillars lapping against the stone buildings that rest beyond them. You enter into the temple-like building and find yourself within one of the largest libraries you've ever bore witness to. You look down a wide path carpeted by old, thick, and wide area rugs that stretch all the way to the base of the massive statue of Gillian. On either side of you are tables and desks filled with scrolls and scriptures, inkwells and quills, as well as twine, wax, and seals. You see roll-top desks and long wooden shared tables with long benches just underneath them. Beyond all this, you see towering scroll shelves and bookshelves mingling with each other, not carved into the stone, but rather carved in a dark brown wood that accents the marble of the temple quite well. You see rollable ladders leaning upon the shelving and small piles and books and scrolls scattered along the periphery of the tables and at the bases of the shelves that stretch along the entirety of the temple. Above these 20-foot shelves is a mezzanine that appears to hold another set of 20-foot shelves along with more tables and desks. Before another mezzanine appears holding the last 10 feet of shelves. At the corners of this library are alchemical workstations with shelving that holds drawers and glass baubles and equipment for the art of potion making. At another corner looks to be an artificery workstation with mallets, spools of wiring, prongs, and large-eyed threading needles as you saw within the farm homes, along with scrolls and large parchment splayed across the empty tables, messied with various tools of crafting.
All right, Commodore. You want to go look at books?
I hope you look. I don't really know what to look for in a place like this. I'm pretty overwhelmed, to be honest.
Yes. All right. I don't know where to start. There's a lot. I'm just gonna walk around for a second. I'm just gonna look. Just kind of look if there's like if they're ordered in any way.
Make an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. What is this?
That's an 18.
Investigation?
Yes.
19.
19. So you find two interesting reads. One is sort of a small scroll upon one of the tables on the second floor mezzanine.
Okay. Would you like me to read this first?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna not read it in Dago's voice.
That's fine.
The date is December 31st in our year 2008. 2008. Yes. Within the second age of elves. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
2008. Second age of elves. We have just received word via the sending spell. A divine terror has occurred just north of the city-state of Isvamel. Isvamel? Nothing is certain at this point in time, though it is no doubt related to Glaucon's refusal to pass the Human Powers Act, and, well, nothing fit for pages to be read by prying eyes. Let us hope the scholars and scribes of their small nation have their wits about them, for this will no doubt alter the course of history. One can only hope that this alteration is for the better. This writing is strictly for archival organization. However, as per our agreement with the Urachmiel sages and druids of Isvamel, nothing more shall be written about this subject. Cool.
The Urachmiel
sages.
What are the?
Oh, God, what?
Oh shit!
Oh!
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh!
I was like, that sounds familiar. Okay, the sages, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
was
got it
in
right
fucking
here.
Flauntus's book about Meandoth.
Not about Meandoth.
About
Biscardi
Biscardi
Morgan.
Morgan.
Is that the
Morgan.
random word? That
Yeah. That Yuffie found and was
That's
like,
fine.
you know what this means? And I was like,
Fine.
totally. Nope.
This.
Oh.
Along one of the alchemy tables.
Do I read it?
You can read it.
1 hour later.
And that is where
Kick ass.
we will call it.
What is this?
Meow, meow, meow.
Oh, that's
Bloodshed.
We will see you next time on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. PST.
Love you, bye.
Bye.